I gotta run that last line back that Q-Tip talked about how where that N-word came from because look, Dr. Ma'at is getting ready to take Ankh outside, and you know that's my big brother. I'm getting ready to spank him because brother Ankh is saying that if a white person grows up in a neighborhood with a black person because of close proximity, it's okay. It's socially acceptable for him or her to use the N-word. Let me go back. Let me rewind this back. I'm waiting. Peace and love to the family. Happy Kwanzaa. I know today, first of all, Habari Ghani, and today's principle we know is Nia, is purpose. So salute to all of my folks who celebrate Kwanzaa. I know there's some folks in the chat who don't, but salute to all of the people who do. Happy Kwanzaa nonetheless to all of the Kwanzaa practitioners. I see the Queen Mothers in the building. Peace and love to Sissy and Marcia Pinda. I see that sister's in the building. I know she celebrates with her beautiful family. Peace and love to her. I see the Queen Mother, Rashamela, is in the building. Rashamela, we did it again with another camp. So shout out to my little soldier, my little Asafo Zion, who completed, I think this was his second cycle with the UACI STEM camp and his second cycle with the Asafo training camp. So shout out to him and shout out to you for investing in our youth. I see a lot of folks. Jesse Johnson, I'm not tripping, brother. Yeah, I'm not tripping. I know you were just adding to the conversation. I'm not tripping about what you said in the chat. Yeah, I'm not tripping. I know that you would just ask, you would just, contributing to the conversation. Peace to knowledge born Allah. I see you in the building. Peace and love. I'm talking about, I'm checking my email now. And I said, come get this butt whipping real quick. But I see the Queen Tiffany is in the building. I see the King, the African warrior King is in the building. Knowledge born Allah. You got to get back on this platform, brother, to talk about your children's book series. Peace and love to you. I see your average logical thinkers in the building. She said, I stand with you, Dr. Ma'at. Let me call Ankh scary butt. He talking about hit the button. I said, yeah, I hit the button. We going out in the YouTube streets to fight. So he's getting ready. Come on. Hold on. Oh, here he is. Hold on. Here, look, he laughing, y'all. Hold on. Come get this butt whipping real quick, Ankh. You about to get this butt whipping. I was talking bad trash, but let me lay the context with him. Let me lay the context with the family. So brother Ankh and I, we argue all the time, everyone. Just, he and I like brother and sister. We argue back and forth. Like I'm talking about shouting at each other back and forth. And then we kiss and make up later on. So that's what we do. And we love each other to pieces. So anyway, everybody knows on the internet by now that Fat Joe, made comments about FBA when he was asked about it on the Math Hoffa show. And he was talking about hip hop and, Fat Joe's position is that, Latinos and Black Americans both contributed to hip hop, the creation of hip hop equally. And so anyway, when he was asked about, FBA position about hip hop, he started calling, FBA racist and broke. And then it spun into this whole conversation about Fat Joe using the N-word. And so Brother Ankh and I started arguing because Brother Ankh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you think if someone has grown up in a Black community that it is socially acceptable for them to use the N-word. That is your position, correct?
I think you're gonna have to weight it on an individual basis. But
that's not what you said on the phone. That's not what you said on
the phone. I said based off of my experience with it, how it went. Remember, it's going to be right. So I can't say everybody gonna fit in that box. Like you grew up around white people and they better not call you. They better not use that word, right? Yeah, but we had a great example of DJ Scotty B. Y'all know him.
Tell the people.
Y'all know him as DJ Scotty B. I ain't know about all that shit. I know Scotty.
Right.
That's a little wild white boy. He was actually a nigga. Listen. So I want you to know, and I'm gonna catch a lot of flack, but I gotta be the one.
No, you
I want you to know that a person can have European genetics biologically. Those genes that would push you in that area, right? European or Asian, that area, right? But ethnically, they're raised as a Black person. I don't expect people to get that. And I'm saying ethnically, he was raised as a black person. He don't know nothing else. The way he talked, his mannerisms, all the women he dated, he never was that. So when now, as far as getting somebody face, calling him a nigga, I don't know, right? But the use of the word, it didn't phase nobody, it didn't phase us. So it wasn't a thing. By the time you ran into Scotty B years later, you was like, why in the world can he say that word? And it was wild when you said, I know him, that's my man, right? I won a championship with him in baseball, right? You know what I'm saying? He was a little short, always a little short, real fiery, always cussing, but I never even seen him as nothing else but who he was. So, am I tripping? Okay, as I got older and all that, as I went through certain things, right? Then maybe I would say, no, don't use it. But in reality, the use of that word can be from community to community. Okay. Now, if you're talking about New York, that's a whole different experience. Now we're trying to tell people, and I talked about it, Doc. You talk about people from the Dominican or Puerto Ricans, they looking like us. And they're using the word. So the point is, don't use the daggone word. That's what it all boils down to.
That's
Doc.
my position.
I don't mean no harm.
No, but that was my position.
I don't mean no harm.
That was my position. Don't use the damn word.
Yeah.
And going back to Scotty B. So when I first told you, when we were talking about this on the telephone, I said, Ankh, I came across Scotty B. I was in my early 20s. He had a store called Metro Records, Metro Station, whatever, on Greenmount and 33rd.
Yeah.
And I said, when I walked in that store, and this is as a young girl, 20, 21 years old. I'm going in there. At that time, they were selling the mixtapes. You had DJ Booby popping. You had DJ Kenny B. You had Kenny K. Everybody was selling the different mixtapes out of the Metro. I think it's called Metro One stores. So I go in there to get a mixtape, right? And I'm in there chilling with him. And he was around a bunch of black dudes. And every woman that came in, he had a comment. Yeah, you know what I mean? That B. And I said, damn, these dudes sitting around, them nigga, B, nigga. And I'm sitting around, I said, dang, all these dudes around him, he's calling black women that are coming through. He ain't call me out my name. He didn't call me out my name. Sisters that were coming through, he referred to them as B's, and he was using the N-word loosely, and nobody checked him. I was utterly appalled, not only at him, but those so-called black, I don't even want to call them black men, black males that, no. Those black males that were around him. Like, brother, don't, not even brother, but don't do that. Don't disrespect. So my whole thing is, people are in an uproar right now about Fat Joe using the N-word. But let me say this, because you say you catch a lot of flack. I know I'm getting ready to catch a lot of flack for what I'm getting ready to say. You all allowed it. Because I remember a time in the 80s and 90s where a white boy or a non-black person could not call anybody the N-word without getting their tails kicked. But hip-hop made it cool. Everybody started singing the words. Hip-hop made it cool to use the N-word. And then it became acceptable for people to, I'm talking about non-black people, to use the N-word. And then all of a sudden, the brothers stopped checking people that was using the N-words. Brothers stopped checking people who was calling black women B's and violating B's. And now we're here in 2024. Now everybody's in an uproar with Fat Joe. So if you're going to ask me, who do I blame? I blame the brothers. There you go. So any of the brothers in the chat, you can feel however you want to feel about Dr. Ma'at. She hating men. She doing this. I blame y'all because you sat there and you let these punks get away with calling black women B's and calling y'all and calling us niggas. And now everybody mad because now everybody's saying it. Make up your mind. Go ahead, brother.
I think ladies and gentlemen, Doc might cuss me out on here. I'm going to take it like a champ. That's my people's.
No, we ain't that, I'm just saying, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I'm serious. Now everybody mad because non-black people use it. Y'all should have stopped. Y'all used to check dudes. I remember a time when somebody say, Nick, it was fighting words. You would fight somebody called you the N-word. Especially, I'm talking about a non-black person. You would fight. Now it's cool. Hip-hop made it cool. Then white people started singing along the songs. Remember white people, remember back in the day, people, the N-word would come and white people wouldn't say anything. Then after a while, they started saying the N-word and nobody checked them. Nobody checked them. Now everybody's in an uproar about non-black people using the N-word. We shouldn't have allowed them. We shouldn't have gave them a pass anyway. We got to stop giving them passes. We give passes. We give passes. And then when it blow up in our faces, now we're shocked. Now we're shocked. Folks are mad right now because you have Latinos who are claiming, ownership of hip hop. Black people are so damn inclusive that when we decide to be exclusive, it's a problem with other groups of people because they're used to us being inclusive. Let me say this, and I land my plane. Two of our biggest mistakes, Brother Ankh, was integration and inclusivity. Those were our two biggest mistakes. Integration, fighting for integration, and our inclusivity. We let everybody come in, and then when we get burnt, we looking crazy and we crying on the internet about it. We shouldn't have let everybody in. We have to safeguard our culture. That's my position. I land my plane.
I wouldn't quite say it that way. Having cultures integrate at times is the thing that helps humans flourish. So I could show you a community that's isolated and they become isolated. And we know these hunter-gatherer groups around the world, they actually became isolated. Under no circumstance do I mean lose your culture in that integration. Because being integrated does not mean that.
That's the part I'm talking about. Assimilating to other people's culture, losing yourself, losing your culture. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what it happens to us because our culture got snatched. So we had to rebuild it. Right. And so we don't have those language ties to the continent. Right. Language is culture. A language helps preserve your culture. Okay. We don't got that. All we got is English. And we speak a complex, y'all can look it up. We speak a complex form of English. African American dialect is like the most complex form of English, point blank, right? So we form a language, right? And I'm saying it wrong when I say language, I don't mean, but we form a way of talking, a dialect, right? I'm not even sure it's a dialect, but the way we enunciate our words, the way we put words together is very complex, okay? Very nuanced, okay? And we formed the African American culture, which is serious. It's so serious that you can go to indigenous places in Africa now, and indigenous Africans is kicking African American culture by the way they dress, by the way they speak.
They are.
And they're kicking hip hop, which is African American culture, right? You know, I go to the academics. I go to the encyclopedias. So the encyclopedias and the academics say that hip hop, right, is African American culture, right? I'm not arguing with you over that. Okay? So here's the issue. The eyeball test, right? And trying to make black a thing that you can actually codify, it's not going to happen. You're going to always get in trouble. Because I'm telling you right now, your favorite hip hop artists ain't even African Americans at times. How about that? And they look just like me and you. Are you mad at them if they use the word nigga? Or as you get a little more lighter, then that's the problem. But just because a person is light, don't mean their genetics is any different than yours. See what I'm saying? So you talk about Fat Joe and them, they got sub-Saharan African DNA. So how much DNA do you have to have before you can use the word, right? What are you codifying as black? What makes a person black? Is it the color of their skin? Is it the culture they live? Because I said DJ Scotty B, he was ethnically black American. You say, well, how? European? Yeah, he was Jewish. I'm gonna add that caveat to it, right?
So you're saying DJ Scotty B was
ethnically
Jewish,
black.
Was ethnically black, but then he was also Jewish.
Ethnically black though. Mean the way he raised,
but Jewish. But he's a Jew.
He said he's Jewish. Yep. I never asked him personally, was he Jewish? He never practiced Jewish culture. Ethnically, he wouldn't have been Jewish.
Oh, he practiced it. Maybe not around you.
Nope, not
maybe
DJ
not around
Scotty
you.
B.
Yeah, okay, maybe not.
Well, I don't know.
You.
I don't know. I'm gonna ask him. But the point I want to make here though is, man, listen, and what make the conversation so good, Doc, is that when you looked at Scotty B, you was like, what the hell? And I'm telling you now, if I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? You ain't gonna never let a white boy call you a nigga.
No, we be fighting. We be fighting. We would be
fighting. Get that right? That's
a white boy, and a white boy, white girl, we would be rolling around on the dirt fighting. You're not gonna call me a nigga. We're not.
I
I'm
agree
not.
with you.
I don't care how many black people you grew up around. I don't care how you dress, how you talk. I don't care how much hip hop music you listen to. I don't care. You are not going to be in my presence calling me a nigga, and
So
I don't check your jaw. I'm sorry, Unc.
so
That's
how
me
can I
though.
say that? How
That's
can I
me.
agree with you? How can I agree with you? Right? And then turn around and say, well, DJ Scotty B wasn't white.
He was a white boy.
He wasn't.
He's a white boy.
He wasn't. He
He's a
was
white boy.
ethnically black. I'm
What
telling
makes
you.
him ethnically black?
So let's get
Because
into it.
he screwed black women, lived in a black
Well, nope,
neighborhood.
not that.
What
No.
makes him ethnically? What makes somebody
Mhm.
ethnically black, Unc?
So we talking about ethnic identity, which is a social construct. Okay. So you got things like cultural emergence. Okay. So like if a person is raised in an African American community and is exposed to its traditions, values, and language and customs, right? They may develop African American identity, regardless of their genetic background. How about family influences? All right, being adopted or raised as African American parents, right, can install, let's say, a sense of belonging to the community. Family traditions, norms, and cultural heritage play a significant role in shaping your cultural and racial identity. Community experiences, right? So, identifying. Identity is often shaped, Doc, on how society treats individuals.
So hold on,
Right,
hold on, pause, Unc.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if I take a cat
Yeah.
and raise the cat around dogs, does
Yeah,
it make the cat a dog?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying. Okay, so I take a cat. I take a
trick
cat.
out.
No. I take a
Trick
cat.
out.
I take a cat and I raise the cat around dogs, and I say, and the cat starts saying, "Woof." Does that mean it's a dog? It's not a damn dog. It's still a cat. No matter where I raise that damn cat, I could raise the cat around dogs, lions. A cat is a cat. That's like saying now it's like it's moving into like the transgender movement. It's moving into that. So
No,
I could feel like a man,
no.
identify as a man, it feel like I think like a man, not look like a man that has, but now because I identify and feel like I have the characteristics, now I can say I'm a man. That's the way we move in the conversation. Now I'm sitting here thinking, brother Unc, about what was that white? I want someone to tell me the chat, that white woman who identified as a black woman and she got caught. She was going around here saying she identified as a sister, and they had a Netflix documentary on her. I forgot her name. And come to find out, she was a white woman.
She was doing something different, though. She was trying to say that she was genetically that. She was really trying to. That's not what Scotty B is saying. That's the difference. So your example, your example
Rachel,
with a cat and a dog, that's two different species.
Dolezal, thank you.
That's two different species.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel Dolezal. Thank you. So now you agree. So you agree with what she did. So because she identified,
no.
So she's ethnically black by your definition. Then,
but no, she wasn't raised. Her parents, her parents didn't raise her. That's what I'm saying. I already know I'm gonna lose the conversation. I ain't mad.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm saying her parents didn't raise her.
I'm just having fun.
No, we good. I think the conversation need to be had.
That's right.
And that's real. And they rarely get to see us go back and forth like that. This is important for growth in the community. So I'm simply saying that both of us make great points. We're not wrong, because whether you like it or not, right? From community to community, the standards change. How can I say that I'm not going to let a white boy call me a nigga, right? But a person is raised as we are and talk like we are, right? It's not a big deal. It's just not. Now, whether it should be is subjective, but it's not. Now, of a white, you know what I'm saying? A person is they ethnically are white. The way they say what they say, right? The way they do what they do. That's a different conversation there. I'm not just talking about a person that's when you got white friends. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking somebody that's raised in the community just like you. You ain't never seen them do nothing different. So mentally, right? Mentally, the way they raise, socially, spiritually, all that stuff is you can be considered African American. Remember, it's a social construct. So now genetically, if we was to say genetically, no, he would not be tied to the indigenous African population or African American population. That's two different conversations we having.
No, I'm with you.
So we would have to really take our time and really get my point. So I want to finish. I want to finish the point though.
Okay,
right?
go ahead. I'm gonna be quiet.
So like if a person is perceived as part of the African American community due to physical appearances or social ties, right? Their lived experience can align with community shared cultural and identity. So he could look like that. He may not look like that, right? That's why I was always strict, Doc, when it came to these conversations, Doc. Like so when people was arguing about, watch this though, Doc. The same people that's hound about the Egyptians are black, right? It's the same people mad at Fat Joe for using the word nigga, right? Why are you mad at Fat Joe, right? How? See how it don't make sense? Now nobody don't know what I'm talking about. Let me say this real clear. The damn Egyptians share about the same amount genetic affinity as the Puerto Ricans do, and maybe lesser when we talking about huddle groups and all that, right? You know what I'm saying? Roughly about the same as the daggone Puerto Ricans and Egyptians, right? Okay, so then why are the Egyptians black, see, and Fat Joe not? See, now we have a problem now. Make them explain that, right? Why is the FBA mad at Fat Joe, but yet talk about the Egyptians as if the Egyptians was them, right? And I ain't talking about that Chief X garbage. It's not what I'm talking about, right? Because the Egyptians are indigenous African people, which are very diversified. Why is it that the FBA people are saying that it was black people here in America? And that's what that's part of what makes you FBA. That's some bull crap. And seeing everybody
I never subscribed to that. I didn't subscribe to that.
Of course
I didn't subscribe to that and say we was always here. I always said this, and let me put this on record. And shout out to, I see Sosa in the building, and Kent and Chef Ron, Cedric, all them in the building. Shout out to the pseudo killers and the community of skeptics. This is what I've always said, brother. When it came down to FBA, ADO, some people say ADOS, some people say FBA, some people prefer to just say Black American, some people, prefer to say African American. Let me be clear. When I talk about my ethnicity, however you all want to frame it, the ethnicity that Dr. Ma'at is a part of are the Central and West Africans who were brought here, who experienced chattel slavery, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, Civil Rights Movement, Black Power movement, that ethnicity. That is the lineage that I belong to. Some people say African American, some people say Black American. Then lately you had ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. Then you had FBA that came out of that. The lineage that I'm talking about, however you all want to frame it, I am talking about the enslaved Africans who came from West and Central Africa, who worked here, who came here, who were brought here against their will, who most of them were POWs, prisoners of war, and they worked from can't see to can't see. My family, let me be clear, my mother's side, her father and her mother came through Sumter County, South Carolina. That's where they were. Her maiden name is McFadden. They were on the McFadden plantation down there. My father's side, they were the Baileys from out of Eastern Shore. They were out of there. They were owned by the Baileys. The Baileys were actually, that's an Irish name. Then you had my grandmother, my father's mother, they were the Daltons, and they came out of North Carolina. That is the lineage that Dr. Ma'at is from. So some people say African American, some people say Black American, some people say, oh, you ADOS, some people say, oh, you FBA. That is the lineage that I come from. And I just want to be clear on that. Go ahead, brother.
So Black American is synonymous with African American, but FBA is not synonymous with African American. FBA,
that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Okay, well then that's not a lived reality. That's not real. So what you would classify as an African American was not in the damn Americas, before they was brought over in the transcontinental slave trade, right? There is no Africans in America prior to colonialism. And Doc, see, this is what they don't know about you, right? And what make you serious. See, you don't shy away from these types of conversations, right? And we have these great conversations. And we had a conversation about the Almacs and all that when you was doing your the animated lesson, episode 2.
You told me, you said don't get caught up in
Don't
that. They
do it.
came before, you said you better not get caught up in that. They came before Columbus with Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. And you and I was going back and forth. And this is what we hold up, but this is what we both said. We both did say that he did not present compelling evidence for the presence of Africans in America prior to the arrival of Christopher Columbus. It's, I don't even know what kind of evidence I want to call it, because I don't want to be disrespectful. But we say, I'll just say that compelling. But this is what I said to you, Ankh. I said, I'm not going to say that it was no Africans here prior. I'm not going to say
Wouldn't be
that,
scientific.
because I said, you remember I said, Ankh, you and I was going back and forth because you was adamant. I said, Ankh, you don't know what they're going to uncover 50 years from now, 100 years from now, 200 years from now. You don't know if they're going to dig up an African burial ground that precedes we don't know. So all we can say is right now, we don't think that the evidence that's been presented is compelling enough to believe that there were. We can say that now, but I don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And that's what you and I settled on.
Well, you made me adhere to my own goddamn rules, which you did, right? Because you never speak in absolutes, and science does not speak in absolutes. It actually works in approximates. So, right, and so the conversation would be, as of 2025, there has been no direct evidence of Africans being in America. That does not mean that they may not find that. The same with the outer Africa theory. The outer Africa theory could change based off of more available evidence. That's the difference between religion and science. And so you're right. And so I think the point that I want to make is that in doing that animated lessons, because that's what they are, right? Yes. We got a chance to go back over the material again just to make sure. And I'm like, man, because these animated lessons are going to go down in history. And I don't never want to have to look back, right, and say that was pseudo right there. I don't even want to do that.
Yeah, I gotta go back. I gotta go back through and make some corrections though, because I got some things wrong. So I gotta go back through and make some corrections. But I am proud of the work that we did put out there. But go ahead on.
Me too. But I just want everybody to know I'm glad that you respected me enough to even run that type of stuff, but that type of stuff by me. The same with the paper we did. There was some things in there we had to work through. Right, which was good for our we had a good.
We always arguing. I was arguing with you in Mexico. Remember, we were on the phone arguing in Mexico, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" We was arguing back and forth in Mexico City. No, I was in Teotihuacan. We were arguing. I was in Teotihuacan. I just saw the pyramids down in Teotihuacan, and you were like, "It ain't no pyramids," and I was like, "What?" I'm sitting there looking at one, and we was going back and forth about the pyramids. Oh my gosh.
We done had some good ones, but what I'm saying is, but it's the value. Most people don't have this. Most people don't have a doctor that they can call up, right? That's very intelligent, to understand research methodology and actually teach African American males and females, not only African Americans, just humans in general. But I just want to specify African Americans, right? Because you have a diverse class at times, right?
Yeah,
but not too many people can actually reach out, have a conversation with a person that is surrounded by doctors, right? Because you introduced me to most of your doctor friends. I've had conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? Great conversation. You put me in on the Zoom, and we had a conversation. Why do you believe this? And I would hit him with, well, you should probably use what you're using to critique that right there. We done had those conversations, right?
True. He was guy. Right? He got mad. Dr. Holly got mad with you.
Still mad at me?
No, he ain't mad at you no more. He was like, I gotta go. He was like, I gotta go. Oh my God.
But so I always have to show a certain level of empathy, to be honest with you, and I'm working on that. Because everybody don't got what I got. Everybody, are not privy to having a conversation with experts in certain fields and been introduced to how doctors think and realize that people don't get that. And so basically, everyday old person can get tricked by these people. And that's my whole point, right? So yeah, back to the N-word conversation. I won't get too far away from that. I'm simply saying that I understand it. So then maybe the answer is stop making everybody black based off the color of their skin, because you got darker skinned Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that look just like me and you. That's in hip hop, and they use the word all the time. So should they be able to use the word?
No, nobody should be able to
There
use
you
the
have
word.
it. That's
And
why. That's why you just stop the word.
that's where I'm at.
And our culture can foster that, but that's not what our culture did. There are certain words that the Jewish community will not allow you to say. You better not get up there and say something positive about Adolf Hitler. That's a problem. You better not act like the Holocaust didn't happen. That's a problem. We got whole contingencies of African Americans acting like they native, right? Acting like they native, okay, to America, talking about we wasn't enslaved. You got people who are in these fringe groups, right? Whether it's the FBA or whatever you want to say, right? That are saying black people's in America, but yet they're making hip hop movies claiming that other people are misappropriating African culture, but yet are you not doing the same thing?
Absolutely. When you're claiming to be the Native Americans, yeah, the Native Americans, and yeah, you're claiming to be the mound builders. You built the mounds, and you know you were the Olmec Mayans and Aztecs, and you were the Incas, and you were the Mississippian Hopewell, and yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and
you know
yeah,
all that.
yeah, we talk about it in the
The
MANHOOD episode.
Yamsies.
What is called Adena, Hopewell, and Mississippian cultures. That's what they call them. Those cultures that were here that built those mounds. But yeah, when you say stuff like that, we built the mounds.
Thing,
yeah, that is appropriating somebody's history and
so
culture.
how is it not the same thing? And why is it that we can't have a conversation about it, right? And calling it all out. So you're mad at people misappropriating what African American culture is in hip hop, but yet the followers of certain things always will misappropriate who African people are, right? What cultures they started, they're doing the same thing. I'm saying I think these conversations will make the average person who are not privy to doctors and privy to the information open their eyes up. What do you mean? I'm saying that every time you act like we are the native people in America, right? You're doing the same thing that people do to hip hop. They're disrespecting culture. Okay, they're misappropriating it, right? And I start to realize, Doc, that people don't even know how to ride from the top. Meaning, when it comes to hip hop, we ride from the top, baby. Meaning, this African American culture, you got to go to proto rap, right? Proto. Go to the proto. Go to the proto. You're not following people from the islands. You following born and raised African Americans, right? You take that all the way back to Africa with the griots. That's in Africa, right? Take it to the poetry in America, all African American, born and raised, right? So that's why the experts will say that hip hop is African American culture. Now, just because it's African American culture, don't mean you don't have other people that may bring certain pieces to it. It does not mean that. And I think that's where people have a problem with it. See, as long as I know we riding in the top, right? As long as I know it's our culture that fosters these ideas, then it don't matter. You will never hear European, right? Colonial power that started America worry about the other immigrants that come in. Because that's part of what humans do. Because they know at the end of the day, no matter what you say, right, that America was started by Europeans. Now the culture is European, right? Added other elements to it. AE African Americans is next because we helped build this joint for free. They owe us money, but there were other immigrants from other places as part of it, and that's what make American culture. So hip hop, why would hip hop be any more different, right? So you can add to it. Even if you talk about Nile Valley culture, Nile Valley culture have certain influences from other places. And watch this. Nile Valley culture, right? Let's go specifically. Ancient Egyptian culture has influences from different places. Now watch this. Nobody will have a problem if I say Egyptian culture got influences, a large level of influence from Nubia. Nobody has a problem with that. How about from the foothills in Ethiopia, right? That language comes from that, right? Ethiopia is not Egypt. How about Libya, right? Now watch this. How about I say the Mediterranean and Mesopotamia? That's when they all fall apart on that one, right? But the truth is, if you read anything, right, that there's certain influences, right, that the Egyptians had that come from those different areas. That don't mean that Egyptian culture was thrived or started in Mesopotamia. That's a lie that they was talking about. That don't mean that Egyptian culture is Nubian culture. That's a damn lie. You know what I'm saying? Egyptian culture is Egyptian culture, right? But the best cultures always take different ideas from different places, yo, and bring it into the fold, because that's how human beings work. I can't make people understand that, Doc. I can't make you understand that different huddle groups can come into Africa and be with indigenous people, thus still keeping it indigenous culture. I can't make people understand that. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I know. I agree that can happen. That you know, like you said, other cultures can come in and add. We I get that, but I'm talking about when literally we lose our culture because we've been
Yeah, that's slavery.
right. Yeah, like
That's
yeah,
slavery.
like
That's slavery.
that's the issue.
That's the issue. That's
When
slavery.
you lose your
That's
culture.
slavery.
But
That's
let me
slavery.
say this, let me tell you when I knew that,
Mhm.
you know, white folks when Eminem first came in the game. Remember, he came in with, "Hi, my name is what? My
And
name is,"
then,
and I remember shout out to King Freeman at the time he went by DJ Finesse. But he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, D," because that's what they call me. "Yo, D, this white boy, you gotta hear him. He's tight." And I was like, "What?" And so anyway, he let me hear, you know, Eminem, and I can honestly say I never played his album or his tape from cover to cover because the
Mhm.
way he rapped, you know, ants in my pants, dance, I never was really into that. I did like the "Hi, my name is." I did
That
like
ain't
his
bad. Mhm.
you know, I did
Mhm.
like his song "Stand" when he
Mhm.
was talking about that, like that obsessed fan. I did like that.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
this is when I knew that hip hop was really taking a turn for the worse, right? I'm talking in terms of this N-word stuff and just embracing white folks and bringing them in. And so when he got exposed by I think the dude name was Benzino. Is that the guy that owned the Source magazine?
Yeah. Yep.
I
Mhm.
remember getting the Source magazine, and it had, and I actually still have it. And matter of fact, I'll pass you the mic in a second. I'll get it.
Yeah. Good.
I had the CD that was in the Source magazine, and Benzino exposed Eminem, you know, when he was younger, making an album where he called black people niggers, he
Mhm.
called black women bees, he called black people porch monkeys and moon crickets. And you know what we did, Unc? We gave him a pass.
Mhm. Mhm.
Nobody checked him. He wasn't counseled by the community. He got a pass. Not only did Eminem get a pass, Eminem was then crowned the number one hip hop artist. You know, he was the number one. Oh, I mean, you literally had black dudes. I remember when Eminem was on, I think Jay-Z featured him. You know what I'm talking about. Jay-Z featured him on one of his tracks, or I think Jay-Z had him on his track. And everybody was like, "Oh, Eminem ate him." Now, this is all after, again, he called black people niggas, black women bees, black people moon crickets, and porch monkeys. And he
Mhm.
got a pass for that. Nobody checked them. Nobody counseled them. And I said to myself, damn, as a young girl, I said, damn, is this where we are right now? Where now white people can come in. Let me mute, let me mute you real quick. No, I got you. Where white folks can actually come in to a genre that we created, disrespect us, and I had the CD, you know, where he called us all of these things, and then he's crowned the number one rapper of all time. Like, come on, Unc. That's when I realized. I said something is wrong with us. Something is seriously wrong with black folks. Why are you making that face, brother? Why are you making that face? That's when I realized
It's subjective. It's subjective.
Something's wrong, man. Something's wrong.
So okay.
He should have been canceled. He should have been
So
canceled.
so are we basically saying there's something wrong with hip hop culture, right? So hip hop culture fosters these ideas. Okay, so I don't know why we get a pass for that. It would seem like somebody would have talked to him about that. I don't. That doesn't make sense to me. Just if he wasn't a rapper, just a person anyway, moving from one place to another, saying one thing, right? As you enter the community, you got to have that conversation. The Jewish community will make you. If you make anti-Semitic remarks, and now you want to be part of the community or something, you got to explain that, right? If you want to be on certain platforms that is owned by Jewish people, you got to go. Ask Nick Cannon, right? You gotta explain that. You gotta apologize for that, right? So yeah, it's just a level of commitment to your culture that we lack at times, right? We lack a level of commitment. Now we're fighting hip hop, right? and it's showing a level of commitment to it. But you allow pseudos to espouse the history. Okay, and so now you just use the academic sources on hip hop, and it'll tell you what the foundation is: African American culture, right? But you let the pseudo gonna come up with pseudo ideas based around what they think hip hop should be, right? And put that out there in the air, and they pseudo sword fighting at a certain point. So I mean, it's a long way to go, Doc, and I feel like we're in a great place to critique these type of things now. And you know what I'm on right now,
I
right?
know.
I'm on, I'm on it, right? I'm taking a look at some things that I have to take a look at, because certain things shouldn't be spinning in our community without fair and honest critiques. It just should be.
Absolutely. And I want to, not only do I want to talk about the N word, the misogyny that's in the culture, and that's what kills me, when I see brothers, they get so mad at the Cardi B's and the Meg the Stallions and Nicki Minaj. Oh, they out there naked, they out there singing, they singing about their peas, and they're talking about how wet they, remember they had the WAP, remember the WAP, where they had that out, and people were just so appalled. They doing this, but I said, damn. As long as the brothers was talking about slinging D and I F these many broads, that was okay. But then the women, see, y'all got to understand, we your reflection. Y'all got to understand that. Oh, look at, we your reflection. So it was cool. Yeah, me B, I'm getting this money, wearing your pants off, you slinging dick and fucking all this, bro. Then when the women started saying, well, yeah, then I'm slinging pussy and I'm doing, then it's like, yeah, something is wrong with the culture, Unc.
That's hip hop culture.
Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with the misogyny. It is misogyny. It's okay to call women bees just in the music.
Like that.
Just in the music. It's okay to say B because we just saying it on record. We just playing around. No, it's not okay. It's not okay to call black women bees. That's not okay. Misogyny is in hip hop music. Calling people the N-word is in hip hop music.
Okay.
Exactly. It's not okay.
Did Cardi B use the word? Does she use the word nigga?
I think she did. I think she does. I don't listen to her, so I couldn't tell you. Somebody tell me in the chat. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, she does. She does. Cardi Bird does use the word.
So why don't nobody say them to her?
Bird. Yeah, see? Cardi Bird does say the word.
See?
Cardi Bird does say the word.
See why? So why she can say it, but Fat Joe can't say it?
None of them.
There's no rules.
Yeah. None of them. We
don't have a standard for that.
Someone said all the time she says it. Someone said she says it all the time.
So it's something wrong with the culture. The culture doesn't actually have a set standard.
There we go.
Right? It's based off the money you have, based off the influence you have, but there's no a set standard, right? You can use the word nigga here in your music as long as we make you make some dollars off of it. You can be in my song, you can be this color, whatever you are, and as long as my song then went triple platinum, you can use the word, right? But as soon as we make the critique about, say, FBA, right? And I call them a bunch of broke people. What do you call them, a bunch of broke?
He said racist and broke. I ain't even going to play it, but he's talking about racist and broke. And so
he wasn't talking about African Americans, though. He was talking about what he would consider a fringe group, right? That he probably never even heard of. People say you did, but maybe you never even heard of that, because we do too much. Like, the conscious community is like a drop in the bucket. The FBA is like a drop in the bucket, right? It ain't bubbling like you think it is, right? There are over 35 million African Americans in this country, right? And that make up a small little, marginalized of a marginalized group already, right? Mm-hmm. So he was specifically talking about those people that are calling themselves FBA. That's what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about the greater whole, right? Because he couldn't have been talking about that.
I wish we could call him and see, and so we wouldn't speculate. You know what I mean? Like, who was he? Like, who was you?
He said it.
Yeah, but I think that he equates FBA with African American. That's just what I think. So
you think he was talking about African Americans in the face of African Americans on that show? You think that's what it is? I can understand. Yeah, I can. You know what? If that's the case,
I think that he was equating FBA with African American, Black American, ADOS. That's what I honestly.
So
think.
He was calling all of us broke ninjas.
That's what I think. God, as Jimmy Yah said, Cardi B ain't black. I agree 1,000%. She said He says she doesn't promote that. She doesn't promote that to her culture or her people. That's a fact. I agree. Cardi B, because you said, what's the difference, Ankh? You said, well, what's the difference between Cardi B and Fat Joe saying it? She's saying, Cardi B ain't black, and she doesn't promote that. She doesn't promote that to her culture or her people.
But she
That's
used the
what she's
word
saying.
though, is the point I was making.
She shouldn't be using the word.
That was my point. Not how she promote anything. That why is she allowed to have the pack? So listen, people up on the panel. Let's see what they gotta say. You got a couple people saying I'm annoying. I've been annoying. I've been known to be one of the most annoying people.
All right, I dropped the link in the chat. All right, family, I dropped the link in the chat. Come on in. If you have something you want to say to Dr. Ma'ad and Brother Ankh, come on in. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
The floor is yours if you want to come in. My position is clear. I don't care who you are. Don't call me no nigga. I don't care who you grew up around, how many black friends you had. If you grew up in the hood, don't call me nigga.
Yeah.
Or we're going to be tussling. At 43, I'm telling you, Ankh, we be on that ground tussling. 43, I'll be out there.
No, see, you be running. See, people don't know you be running. I didn't see you running. You
ain't
whatever.
Ain't nobody be running. You talking about running like how?
No, exercising.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant running like I'm a runner. I was like, hell no. I say hell no.
Hell no. You ain't got no sense. I ain't even gonna talk about it.
You ain't got no sense.
You got no sense. Too much heart, yo.
They say nigga.
Too much heart.
Oh my God, nigga. Woo boy.
Yeah, you got too much heart.
Yeah, my mama told me that too. She
trust me. That. You be like, come on, yo. You put the link in there?
I did. I put the link. It's sad when the men around me be like, "What man, chill?" Because
they be like, "Chill, yo. Come on, yo. You ain't listening, yo. Gone.
Yeah, you call. Don't call me no. Don't call me no M word. Don't call me no M word, man. No.
Yeah, and I'm saying the same thing, but that's my point. So that's why I said it's counterintuitive. Why would I say I'm not gonna let a white person call me nigga, but somebody that looks like that, why is that okay? Somebody that grew up like that, why is that okay? And I'm saying that's how humans operate, man. So I mean, if you're being brutally honest.
Hey, Mika said at least. Hey, Mika, I think I am. She said Dr. Ma'ad is at least 6 feet tall. I think I am. That's what people always say. I'm so short. I'm short. I'm 5'4", but I act like I'm 6'1",
7 foot,
500, 7 foot, 500 pounds. All right, Street Media TV, you have the floor. Peace and love to you, warrior. How are you?
What's going on? I blame Ankh. This is all Ankh's fault. What's going on? No, I'm gonna say this. Like, I understand what you're saying as far as them being able to use the word when it comes to hip hop, but the thing is, we can't call them spick. We call them spick. It's offensive to them, and because they gatekeep their culture, and they'll stop. They'll put their hands on your chest at the door and say, "Hold on, I gotta go talk to my people." Right? They do that. We the only ones that don't do that. We're the only ones that we just let anybody in the darn house and fight amongst each other right in front of everybody. That's what we do. So I think at some point we gotta like start shutting the doors. I think that they're not used to us putting rules on them. When you also made the statement about some of our favorite rappers is non-FBA, they black, but when they here in Philly, or if you in New York, because Philly got a lot of Jamaicans and people from Liberia and stuff like that since we were young. You didn't know that they was Jamaican and Liberian. They they embraced African American culture. You didn't know that until you went to their family house. They wasn't Biggie, Busta Rhymes. They didn't come like Super Cat. They didn't lead with Jamaican rap. They took on Black American culture, the culture that was. And if you watch a video, Kool Herc said when he came here, he got made fun of because the way he was dressing at the parks. When he tried to play the Jamaican music, they wasn't rocking with it. So he started playing the American music. He started studying the American DJs and playing the American music. He said that himself. So what they did was integrate into the culture that was already here, because we did have a culture. The same way the Jamaicans got a Jamaican culture. When they got here in Baltimore, there's a culture on the block. On the block, whether you're on the east side or the west side. And they came in on that culture. So and I think what happens is we lose sight that we are a people. So we do have a culture, despite what people say about us.
Facts.
So
that's derogatory.
And there's a video where they asked Fat Joe that about the spick word, and he said that that would be disrespectful. So
yes,
and I understand in hip hop I'll say this: once a lot of those religious groups came in and the Black Power movements and all that kind of stuff, we start telling those Latinos that they was black. You know, they start feeling comfortable because it was a period of time when they didn't rock with us.
Yep.
And I know that because of my background. Right? They didn't rock with us like that. So when we start coming in, like a lot of those early on the 70s, the Israelites, brothers from the nation, we start telling these other groups in the diaspora that they was black. They start getting comfortable because there was a period of time when they stayed away from us. We lived in different neighborhoods, different communities. So and then the last part I land here. There's also videos of Cuban Link exposing him for being racist for years. And I just want the people to know, a lot of them can come and roll with our culture, but they get to go back being white or Latino whenever they want to. We got to stay black. So I keep my foot on their neck, and I've been saying this for years. We got to stay black. They don't get to stay black. They can come in, they can do the Kid Rock and the Fat Joes and the all of them. They all can come in and get a little bit of our culture and go back to their culture and blow up. And we got to stay black. So man, the hell with them, man. I mean, excuse my language, but it's the truth.
So let me say something. So I don't hear them using the word spick in their songs. They keep it negative. The word nigga can carry different connotations based off the how you say it, based off the way you pronounce it. So I say, what's up, my nigga? That's a different thing to say. I'm gonna kill you, nigga, or I'm gonna whip you. It's different, right? And so if you understand words and terms change meanings, and they just do. And so we have allowed the word nigga to change meanings. That's real. I don't think the word spick is negative. We could have kept it that way, but we didn't listen to the elders. The elders would say it's negative. We fought that, right? So it's our fault. We chose to allow each other to first say, "What's up, nigga? What's up?" We did that. So we got to take personal accountability for that. So don't hate me, hate the game. The word is too late. The genie's out the bottle. It can be used as a term of endearment. It can be used as a term of hate. It can be used on hip hop culture if you're rapping. It can be used if you was raised in the culture around people. They all sat in the barbershop and heard him say it, and it wasn't a thing to them. The question is, why wasn't it a thing to them? Because that's not how that word is understood the way they was raised in that area. That's real. So, I mean, look, man, I run a type shit on science, and everybody want to jump over the lines and get mad at me. So I don't know why now y'all want to run a type shit. I'm confused.
Because at some point the people got to start waking up, huh? So at some point the people got to wake up and start gatekeeping the same way every other group do. And guess what? So do Africans. Africans gatekeep their culture too. They'll talk Pan-African, but they'll tell you, yo, you ain't a part of this, Playboy. We the only ones, and we've been like that since.
Inclusive.
Listen, Uncle, you know this. How did what's the name become who? Farrakhan. If you take Farrakhan, you take Marcus Garvey. How do they come who they become in America? Because we always open up our arms. That's not a bad thing. Right. But at some point, you gotta shut the door sometime because they'll shut the door on us. We don't. So that's our problem. We all inclusive. Until it's too.
And Brother Joy, this is what I said to Ankh. I told him our two biggest mistakes was integration and inclusivity. I said that was our two biggest mistakes. But thank you so much, Brother Street Media TV. King J, what do you thought? What are your thoughts? Go ahead, you have the floor, King J.
Peace, I appreciate that. And kind of just to piggyback off the brother who just spoke point, it's kind of like the ability for a Fat Joe to come into our community and to do that to benefit off of our culture in such a way when it's convenient for him to be, and then hip hop, and then go back to being Puerto Rican when it's convenient for him. It's really the question is like, why is he able to do that? And is it because we don't own it? Who really owns the media and the portrayal of hip hop that has to say so of how we are depicted? So even though, we may get offended by, them saying it, but I feel as if they feel it, I feel as if they feel like if we brought it, we can do what we want with it. We might trademark it. And you can't say it. You know what I'm saying? But I've never been fond of the word myself. Period. If what any race saying it, other black people, white people, whatever you want to call it, I don't really, but I kind of feel as if any word could be offensive depending on the tone and manner you say it in, not just that word, any word could be offensive if you're saying it in a, negative, derogatory tone.
Man, it's
But
too late. It is really too late at this point, yo. I mean, it was definitely when our generation that made the word. We really use it amongst each other, right? And it just wasn't used in a negative sense. And your mother and them eyebrows would raise up, like what, huh? It's almost like if you're older than 50, 60, definitely hate that word.
Right.
Say it again. If you older than 50, 55 and up, you are very perturbed at this particular juncture. Perturbed at the whole thing. You actually think that we've lost our mind. Hip hop is bananas. Remember, even the people who gave rise to it. I'm talking about like like people that was Dolomite and all them, right? All that's proto rap, right? And a lot of them was thinking that this new generation doing that was wild. They ain't had no instruments. What is that? That's not really music, right? Y'all know the history, right? So it has something to do with being older, right? It has something to do with things move forward. It has something to do with having some type of breaks on certain things. And I mean, let's just face it, man. We were actually young in this culture that we call African Americans, yo. Like in an environment we was raised in, we had to just come up with it. That's why the information is thoroughly pseudorized, right? We don't respect historians. We don't even understand what it is. And so it's a lot of work we all got to do. And that's why these conversations will foster better communication amongst each other when we don't agree. Like I got some people I'm not even friends with no more based off the Egyptian conversation. That shouldn't be that, right? Like right now, people think I'm a nut. Oh, he's a nut. He said Egyptians ain't black and don't know that there's a scientific expression of understanding different people on different continents. Like if I say indigenous African, and the scholars are now saying indigenous Africans, that's one of the parts that Diop was definitely fighting for, right? One aspect of Diop work didn't make it through. We not even mature enough to realize that our scholars didn't have to be right about everything, but we not there yet. You talking crazy about Diop's. Well, I'm not. I'm saying that part was wrong, that part was right. So yeah, I'm letting somebody talk. I'm just saying that's just maturity.
All right. Thank you so much, King J. At Shaw, you have the floor.
Yeah. Good night. Congratulations on the viewer numbers. And I think for me, I feel like you gotta give people a lot of grace, man. Because like we all make mistakes, and none of us are perfect, you know. And even going to that Egyptian conversation, I remember when I was trying to search out if the Egyptians are black, and I'm thinking, listen to your Dr. Benz, Clark, all that, and you're thinking they're like literal black African people, right? And I'm like, why are they fighting the Nubians then? Because there's reliefs that show them fighting the Nubians. And then I started realizing you can look and see that division even now. Even if they were, let's say, assume they were fully black. Black people are not even united as it is. White people aren't even fully united as it is. You know, you can look at, even in the Caribbean, you'll have Jamaicans going against other groups, or other groups not liking Jamaicans if they come to their island, or you're in America, same thing, so it's like human beings, that's a part of us. We like to divide, and I personally think that it's better to work on a kind of a unity, but not this unity where we think that we're all going to agree on everything type of unity. a unity where it's like, I want to see the best for you, and I want you to see the best for me, and like be happy with my success, and I'm happy for your success, and I'm content with what I have, and you're content with what you have, and I can learn from you and take the things that you're using that are beneficial and apply them to my life, you know. But look at all the different religions, all of them split off generally from one main branch or something, right? Or, you know, and it's that division, that constant like division. And I think it's just a human thing, you know, it's human psychology, you know.
All right, at y'all, brother Ankh, you have anything? Brother Street Media, you have anything you want to say?
No,
at y'all.
I want to ask both of y'all a question because I know y'all give the right answer for this. The funny thing is, if a rapper on a song or just on your job, if you or just anywhere, if you use say the rap like WAP or spit or all those kind of words like that, you get in trouble for it. But you reprimand it right away. Like even those record execs, they're not letting you use the word WAP in their music. They're not letting you use the word. And the thing is, we're supposed to have federal laws on the books to protect our image.
Come on.
And to protect us. And the problem I have, I'm gonna go with the route that Ankh took it when he used the elders, right? The problem that I have is we have executive orders on the federal books to protect us as a people and our image. I don't understand how even in 1996 when C. Dolores Tucker was talking about the lyrics in a rap with Tupac, how they didn't go and invoke those laws that was on the books against the record labels to force them not to be able to profit off of our image, because they was profiting. They was the ones whether the young kids was using the N-word or not, they were bankrolling the projects and making money off of the destruction of the image of Black people, where these amendments were supposed to protect us from that. They never invoked none of this stuff. They never even talked about it in their language. So like it's now you might have books where people talk about certain things, but on podiums, right, telling it to the young people, they never did none of this. So to this day, even when you march or you lead up to this conversation, most people don't even know like all the executive orders that's on the books for Black people. They don't know nothing about none of this stuff, Dr. Maya. All they know is the civil rights bills. They don't know other stuff that's on the books that's supposed to be enforced to protect our image.
Well, we got to invoke that type of stuff. You gotta know. You'll hear people say we don't got nothing specifically for us. You'll hear all the misinformation, right? And so remember NWA when they came out in hip hop, right?
Right.
And they was enthralled in the courts. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Based off of what? Why was they in the courts?
Because of the lyrics. They were
right.
They're Man Too Live Crew.
See?
Yeah, he right. Too Live Crew was too.
See? So they tried to correct y'all. Let me stop. I'm playing.
No, but this was the problem.
Wait, am I wrong though? Listen to what I'm saying.
No, they were in court.
Hold on for a minute. I'm making a point here.
Go ahead.
They tried to step in. And you would say they ain't stepping into nobody else's music, because that's what I would say. But in hindsight, you was like, man, maybe we should have slowed it down a little bit. Because that's when you was going heavy with the nigga word for real, right?
The B word.
Heavy with the B word, right? Heavy with them to shoot you up, boom, right? Each generation taking a little step forward. Now they killing each other over the music. See? So yeah, man, like that's my whole point. Like we young at fostering culture right now. African Americans, we new. You know what I'm saying? We new to this, baby. Like you got to know that. Where is the standard? Okay, so watch this. Where's the standard? Right? So if I want to come up with a new idea, right? What standard will you judge me by? So if I say, okay, I'm going to do this is the thing, and I'm going to promote African history. I'm not going to say everybody, but most of us promote pseudo-scientific African American history. Simple as that, right? I only know of one person who had money on the damn line, right? Who was going to put a product out to the African American community that actually came to me, and that's Dr. Mayat, and say, what you think about this? Let's talk about it. Let's go through the records. Let's go through the manuals. Let's see what it is. That's Dr. Mayat. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm the standard, but goddamn, at least I know what the daggone standard is. I ain't saying I'm the standard, but I know what it is. How many projects that promote African American history is pseudoscience? And right now, people in the chat will cuss me out if I say something against it, like Hidden Colors.
I can't.
Y'all cuss me out. Oh, that's the greatest movie. That's a pseudoscientific project at best.
But
Right.
let me
And
say
how
this
many
too,
on this panel right now will say, no, man, that's good work. See what I'm saying? So I'm saying we're not even mature enough to take the proper critiques and change it.
But let me say this too.
Uncle always gotta throw shots. It never fails.
It ain't got nothing to do with you. You don't got nothing to do with
No, I know, but I just
said.
say you always throwing shots.
And that's how I love, though. I got love. I'm just saying, not on my watch, not on this generation, will we think that Hidden Colors was banging. Not on my watch.
No, but hold on. Because Dr. Mott appreciate this. Back in '95, when Dolores Tucker was going after the rapper, she also went after the labels, and they was the ones that shut her down. Yeah, because they filed lawsuits against her while she was filing lawsuits against them. So she was trying to go past the rappers because she understood everything that I'm talking about now. The problem was the black clergy and all those other groups got their funding and they shut up and they didn't say anything because she was invoking those laws that's on the books to protect our image. Because
what you talking about the hip hop music? What I'm talking about? You talking about that?
Yeah, what I'm saying is about what I brought when we using this term nigga, right? And if you go back during that time, she was trying to prevent them from bankrolling in the first place. And what they did was they shut her down by using the same people, her people against her.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things they did. So I think that young people waking up now, starting to gatekeep, what has to happen is something that you talk about when you talk about the science. We have to give the young people the education. They have to know the federal laws on the books that's supposed to protect the image and why you're not supposed to be using this, because this is on the books to fight for. So now what you do is when you're using a word, you're actually fighting against your stuff. Because when you want to now gatekeep it, we run up against this. So most of our people don't know the history. They don't know what Time Warner and all these groups was doing when she was trying to fight to stop all this kind of stuff. So I mean, that's my input.
All right, brother. I think it's DJ. No, DLJ. Brother DLJ, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Peace. I hear you loud and clear, warrior.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Mayat, for hosting the space. Okay. I definitely want to ask Ankh, because I know Ankh, he knows that it was the PhDs who changed the definition of Black. They're the ones who made this term now that we're using Black to make it inclusive. It has always been exclusive. They were the ones who made it inclusive. Furthermore,
what's the question?
Well, it's not a question. It's a statement.
You said you want to ask me a question.
It's a statement. I wanted to make a statement. But yeah, definitely it was the PhDs who did that. Also,
explain that.
With you saying that you're scientific, you said explain that?
No, go ahead. What I'm saying,
with you saying that you're scientific, I don't
scientifically literate. I practice. I advocate. I'm a science advocate. Go ahead.
We'll use those terms such as dark skin and light skin.
Yes.
When you're referring to it, because those are scientific terms. And also, there is no scientific evidence for multiple races. There is none. The Human Genome Project absolutely destroys that. There is no such thing as multiple races. So when we have to go back to science, as you're saying you're dealing with, Black has to go with ethnicity. Genetic markers mark ethnicity.
Huh?
Yes, it does. It does. No. And you can ask your brother, your boy in Gozi. It does mark ethnicity.
How?
It marks ethnicity because
if
you have certain genetic markers in certain regions.
No, man.
In certain regions, yes, you do.
That's
just
called
like
race
here
science.
in the United States of America.
No, hold on.
With the
Let's
population.
just deal with ethnicity for a minute.
We let you go all the time.
Yeah, because this is part of my show.
Moments without
let DLJ. Let DLJ. Let DLJ talk, brother.
If you're in the United States of America, when you do our genetic test on us, we have certain markers. that we have been mixed with, right? So our clusters, our clusters that are from Africa is wide. It's wide because we are mixed with various African tribes. It's vice versa with us with our genetic markers when we're dealing with the clusters of the European ancestry or the DNA that we have in us. The clusters are small. They're small because we haven't been mixed with a lot of Europe, with a lot of different European tribes. Now, the Native American groups that were in the United States of America are totally different from the Native American groups that are in South America, Central America, et cetera, et cetera. We have the Cherokee, the Comanche, the Potawatomi, the Miami, all of those different groups. Those are the markers that you're going to find for African Americans. Now, if you take a Jamaican,
no, you said what? Stop. You said what?
If you take a
Jamaican, named some Native American. No, hold on. Whoa.
Go ahead.
You mentioned some Native American tribes and said we're gonna find that in African Americans. That's what you said?
Yes. You will find that a certain amount of us here in the United States of America do have certain genetic markers for Native Americans.
Yeah, about 1 to 4%. Yeah, about 1 to 4%.
But it's a fact. But so those genetic markers you are not going to find in a Puerto Rican. You're not going to find in a Jamaican.
Not true.
You're not, because they were Iroquois Indians in those places.
No, that's the same percentage you'll find in the Neanderthal DNA.
There were genetic markers. There are genetic markers for Iroquois Indians, very different from Comanche or Apache, or again, the Miami, the Potawatomi that were found in the United States of America. These are very different genetic markers. And that's what I'm saying, that you lose because you didn't graduate from college, right? And so you do have a problem with interpreting.
No, you said me? Hey, Doc, why don't you let this man go on like this, yo? You lost your mind right now, bro.
You do.
You're going too far, bro. Relax yourself.
From college.
Hey, bro, calm down. Hold on, bro.
And also, you attacking the younger people who are trying to safeguard.
Hey, yo, hold on for a minute, bro.
Up against our culture.
Hey, Doc, can you hear me?
Why?
He waited all his life for this moment.
I waited all his life for this moment.
He
waited this whole. Hey, yo, check this out.
Let him cook.
Check this out, bro. Check this out, bro.
I don't understand.
All his life he been waiting to get off.
I knew it. From trying to safeguard. I'm gonna get you though for running your mouth.
Trying to safeguard our history. It makes no sense that you are forming an attack on them. But I understand why you are doing this, because you have certain members of your group that you hang out with that you have to save face with, Africans, etc., etc., and you thrive off of this Afrocentric history type of thing. I've been seeing you since you first came into the game with Sarah Seti. You was a pseudo. You was a pseudo. You was a pseudo. But now you're attacking these younger people who are trying to do something, or trying to understand something.
So this is a personal attack against
You need to fall back. Your time is gone. You need to fall back.
He been waiting to get this off his chest.
He been waiting to get his
Let them take that microphone and do something with it.
He ain't stopped breathing in 5 minutes.
Now, DLJ, we gotta let Ankh clap back. We gotta let Ankh clap back. But he been waiting his life to get at your ass. He getting at you right now. He got
behind that car. You ready to fire back, right?
Nah. I'm glad near the end of his speech he had some truth in it. So I did come into the game, Pseudo. So you're absolutely right about that. And I make no bones about that, brother.
Yeah, he did.
I ain't never hid that from nobody. You the only clown that think I didn't. You the only one that think that I hid that. So you're absolutely right.
I never did.
I'm talking now. Ain't no phone in the rest got the gun, is it? Let me finish my point. So you're wrong. The Puerto Rican population do have Native Indians in their blood. Okay, look up the new studies. Let me finish my point. You said that you was wrong. Okay.
Now Indians is different from Comanche and Apache.
I don't even know what you're talking about when you're saying that. I don't know what you're talking about when you say that. You don't even know what you're talking about. You just mad. You know what? I'm not even gonna call you a hater. I'm gonna call you a person that is mad because you can't do what I do. Now, I've never said I was a gatekeeper of anything. I simply say I know what I went through when this community started, right? I know how I was misinformed and how I carried that misinformation. So I'm the perfect person to show a person can grow over the last 20 years, bro. I don't even mess with Sarah stupid SETI no more, right? We don't even rub elbows no more, right? Matter of fact, half of the people that I was messing with, I don't even mess with no more based off their stances, based off of misinformation being promoted. So I'm a prime example of being pseudo. Matter of fact, we did a whole show on the Raw Squad talking about how we all have pseudo beginnings, right? Now, next part, ethnicity, it has nothing to do with biology. It's a social construct. So before you come up here talking that talk, yo, make sure you can walk that walk, bro. I'm going to say it again. Ethnicity is a social construct. Do I need to provide sources for you? It is socially developed by human beings. It's not a biological thing. Point blank, bro. So you don't know what you're talking about. You mixing and matching stuff. And matter of fact, what the hell was the question, bro? Don't tell young people they pseudo. I supposed to, bro. I supposed to say, yo, drugs is bad for you, bro, if I went through it. So now I'm a gatekeeper because I understand the horrors of drugs and how it kills the community. Now that I've been through that and I come and tell the community don't do it and know the pitfalls, I ain't supposed to do that.
With another man who's trying to dog out Black Americans, African Americans, ADOS, FBA. Don't go on that channel because he do. See, the problem with the people that are in the northeastern corridor.
No, I was quiet, brother. I was quiet. You told me I was cutting you off.
So y'all scared of the Hispanics. Y'all scared of the Hispanics. That's why y'all ain't never stepped to them. It's a problem with y'all in the northeastern corridor. It's a problem with you. You grew up in Baltimore, right? You've always been outnumbered there. You've always been outnumbered there. You scared. You are scared. You scared.
Hold on, man. What is your name, though? You know my name. I don't know your name.
That's not your name.
What's your name?
That's a fake name that you got. I got my initials up there. DLJ.
No, my
Donald
name is,
Leslie Jones
no, I was
Jr.
born. I was born Robert
Donald
West.
Leslie Jones Jr.
Hold on for a minute. I was born Robert West. They call me Bobby West. Matter of fact, they say my whole goddamn name where I'm from. They say, "What's up, Bobby West?" So, nigga, I ain't scared of my name. Get that straight. Understand where I'm coming from. And ain't no heavy Spanish fucking community in Baltimore, Maryland when I was going through that. You made that up. Now they might be there, but that wasn't that. So you don't know what you're talking about. And I ain't no damn Afrocentric, bro. I ain't a Pan-African. I ain't none of that. Matter of fact, I'm what people dislike the most. So you tripping. Now, I'm an atheist. Now I'm an atheist. Now check this out. So listen, so as a Christian, so why'd you come up here? Man, I ain't been up on Sonata channel in damn near a year. I ain't been up on Sonata channel in a year. Let me say this though. Let me say this. So as a Christian, yo, what gives you the right to come up here and talk to me? As a Christian. What gives you the right to come up here and tell me?
What are you talking about?
You ain't a Christian?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking to you. As a Christian, now, what gives you the right to come up here?
You're not going to take it off of me. See, you're
a Christian. See, I knew it.
And you're posing like you're scientific.
You're a Christian. You're
posing like you're scientific. Yes, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, it were Christians.
I'm saying, are you a Christian? I'm saying, are you a Christian? Are you a Christian? Are you a Christian? Are you a Christian?
That's part of my history.
I'm saying, are you a Christian?
I have never been affiliated with none of the pseudo religions.
So are you a Christian? So are you a Christian?
You was down there with Dr. What's the food name?
I'm asking you a question, bro.
What do you remember of the Nubians?
Hey, bro, I'm asking you a question.
I ain't never been a member of none of that garbage.
Okay, so listen, I will ask you a question.
Never been a member of none of that garbage. But you was down there on the campsite with the man that was raping black kids, and you got a problem with black youth.
Hey, yo, you know you just closed, right?
Putting them back in his place.
Hey, check this out. I suggest, hold on for a minute.
I suggest we keep one of them northeastern corridor scared black.
I think you can do it a little bit better than this. Listen, I think you can do it a little bit better than this. I actually think you are afraid of a conversation.
You don't deserve that because you've been dogging out.
I don't deserve it. Now I'm gonna try one more time. I'm gonna try one more time.
Dogging them out.
Do you want to have a conversation? Hold on. This is making feel good. This is good conversation. Do you want to have a conversation or do I cuss your bitch ass out? Which way we doing?
I know it was coming.
Which way we doing it, nigga? How we doing?
I know it was
Now I'm
coming.
saying I'd rather have a
I would
conversation with
knock
you.
your lips
I'd
off.
rather
I'd
rather talk to
I
you.
would knock your lips
Listen,
off.
listen what I'm saying.
Dude,
You just as old as
not
me.
at all. I ain't
I
never
beat
been
up
a dope
people that's
fiend.
my
I
age.
ain't never
beat
been a
them up.
dope fiend.
I
You've
will
been a
beat you
dope
up.
fiend.
I'm not mad,
You've
and
been a
I
dope
agree.
fiend.
I agree.
You've
Hold on,
been a
hold
dope
on,
fiend.
hold on for a minute. Listen, hold on. I'm
What
gonna
you want
say
me
this
to do?
now.
You
I'm
want-
gonna hold on. Don't say nothing, Doc. Let me
Look,
say this.
I'm
Don't say
in the
nothing, Doc. Hold on.
Northeastern corridor.
Hold on
You
for a minute.
come to
Hold on for a minute.
Harlem.
Hold
You
on for a
be
minute.
coming in Harlem, so don't talk
Hold on for a
sideways
minute.
to
Hold
me.
on. Let me say this.
Don't ever
Let
do
me
it.
say this,
You
nigga.
can
Fuck
talk
you in
this
Harlem,
crazy
nigga.
stuff on this
You heard what I
internet.
said, right? You
I
heard me,
gave
right?
you my name,
So, see,
and I'm
listen.
letting you know
I'm
where I'm
saying,
at.
don't you want to have
And
a
I
better
know you come
conversation than
up
this?
here.
Listen,
I've
don't
seen you at
all
the
it
Port
right,
Authority
right.
terminal.
So
I've seen that
what you?
other
So
brother that's
listen what I'm
Cuban on that
saying.
line right
Hold
there.
on, hey
I
bro,
seen him at the Port
hey
Authority
bro.
terminal.
I'm trying to
Don't
talk
play.
some reason
He
to
thought
you.
he been
Don't play
stalking
like
you.
that.
So you don't.
Don't
So
play like that at all.
basically, you don't want to have a conversation. You don't
will
want to
get
talk.
punished.
You don't want to talk. You don't want to have a conversation.
Topic, man.
Seriously, you don't want to talk. Are you afraid to have a conversation?
Oh, he left. He left.
Yeah, he better left. Hey, so check this out. That's how it always go. That's why I cut him off early in the count, because I knew he was coming for me, Doc. I know how it sounds.
He waited his whole life. He had some. Hey George, he had some. He was like, what? He
Afrocentric.
he called him an Afrocentric. He said you dogging black youth out. He said he called out your Nuwapian days. He did his homework on you. He did his homework on you.
That's for years. Unc was the troublemaker in the community.
He laid Unc out.
Yo, he went back 25 years. Yo, went back 25 years. I ain't been in Nuwap in 25 years. He went back 25 years.
He said when you came into the community, you was a pseudo.
That's 20 years ago. You're right. You got me, yo.
He laid Unc out.
I remember you and Cyrus said he had that show on YouTube with the girl.
Which one? He talking on the Real Black Atheist? So what my point is though, why individuals like that, right? I don't actually mind them getting off their chest, but I think we could have a better conversation without him wanting to punch me in my mouth and me calling him a bitch, because he's a bitch to me though. And he will always be a bitch to me. He's watching this. So when I go to Harlem, step to me, because I'm there. I ain't afraid of that. He my age, Doc. Somebody my age, yo, they don't stand a chance. My age, we ain't talking about the youngins.
But yeah, he a fan.
No, but he my age, and he look out of shape. You feel me? Dog crazy. Yo, we could just have a conversation about disagreements, right? He messed up the information. He should just slow down. Everybody look at what ethnicity is. It has nothing to do with biology.
All the DNA. Hey, Dr. Ma, am I black? I got 18.
You said what happened? What happened, George?
I got 18% Native American DNA. That's my grandmother right there.
How much you got?
18%. I'm 62% sub-Saharan African. Am I black enough?
I'm gonna say you sub-Saharan African.
Okay. I got scared for a minute.
No, you black enough. You black enough, George. You black enough. You black enough.
Listen, so whatever. I don't know, George.
Hold up, we got D478. You have the floor, D478.
I don't know, George. I don't know.
D478.
You got how much? What?
Hold on. D478. You got the floor. D478.
18% Native and 20% British man.
Man. See?
Go ahead, D478. I'm letting you go. D478. You have the floor. I muted you. Going once. Going twice. All right, Sunchild, you have the floor. Sunchild, you have the floor. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, thank you for allowing me on, Dr. Ma'at.
Peace to you, warrior.
Thank you, and peace to Brother Ankh.
What's going on, Sunchild?
Peace to you, Brother Ankh, and peace to the other brothers of the chat as well. I had just a thought that I'd like to, I wouldn't say challenge an idea, but perhaps just propose an alternative thought on it. When we say that the N-word started out as a negative term and has recently become a term of endearment, given that a little bit of thought, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily true, but I'm open to the idea that it is. So I'm not totally made up my mind. And you guys can correct me if you want. Now, I know that the word is a derivative of the word Negro, which in its inception is a neutral word and not necessarily a negative or a positive. It's just a descriptive word of a certain people and a certain class of people. But the N word, as we now know it, is derived from the term Negro, which simply means black. And as far as it being recently a term of endearment, I'm not sure if I would, if I'm totally convinced of that. Perhaps it could have been a lot earlier considered a term of endearment with the blacks themselves. I think that perhaps as far as blacks are concerned, one of the first words that they would have known, since there was a language barrier between them and their slave owners, the first term that they would have been known as is Negro, or the N-word derivative, whether negatively or not. This is what they came to identify themselves at with this word. And perhaps in a very early phase, they started to call themselves, use this word to identify themselves. And I'm pretty sure that they perhaps used it in a endearing way when dealing with each other. But I've come to learn that both abolitionists and slaveholders use this word to describe blacks or slaves. And there's a book that I found interesting, a book written in 1859 by a lady named Harriet Wilson. And the name of the book is Our Nig, N-I-G, like we would say, that's my nig, or that's our nig right there. And this was written in 1859, and she's listed as an indentured servant, but she was mixed. And she said they called her our nig. And she said that her white slave mistress in particular treated her very harshly. But she said that even the most friendly people in the family called her that, our nig. And apparently
niggers, like a niggers.
Well, perhaps I'm not sure if it could just be. I'm not sure if they called her negress. I'm not sure or they just called males and females. Perhaps they called the N-word like we know it, nigger. I think female black women were probably called nigger more than negress, in my opinion. So when they said, this is our nig, I think that applied to both males and females.
I know they call the babies little nigglets.
Right. And but the idea is that I'm trying to challenge is that the idea of it being a term of endearment may go back a lot further. And I believe that I think that how it works naturally is things that are good or neutral are turned into something negative. Right. And I think this might be true. I'm not putting my money on it, but I'm saying this might be true, like I said. But I do know that the word Negro, it started out as a neutral word. Right. And like I said, according to this book, even abolitionists, and she says abolitionists were also very racist, that they could be very racist. Mm-hmm. And they used the N-word as well, but a lot of them weren't. And they also, but everyone talked to blacks or referred to blacks as the N-word. But it was not always in a negative way.
So what make it negative off the rip, because that's not what the people refer to themselves as, and so that's the negative. That's what make it negative. We people that have self-expression, right? We have agency. They had names, and it wasn't darky, it wasn't brown, black, it wasn't none of that. African people didn't call themselves. One, they didn't call themselves African people. Two, they didn't call themselves by the color of their skin. That's a colonial idea. So that's disrespectful, because you could have, hold on for a minute, Sunchild. So you simply could have asked me, what did I call myself? Like my name would have been good. Just like we was forced to call them by their names. We couldn't call them white boy. No, you had to call them by their name, Mr. Johnson or Mr. that and other. So it was disrespectful from the beginning, bro. So yeah, I don't know where you're coming off of that.
Well, I mentioned that there would be a language barrier, and with the slaves, they were discouraged to speak their own language, and they would not.
Your name, no, Sunchild, listen real quick. Listen, although they may be language barriers, right? We can say their name. Everybody can say their name. You get that?
Right. But
you might not be able to speak the language, but you can say your name. You get it?
No, that's fine. That's fine. But they were given a name by the slave master, and the thing that they were called, and indeed it was, and it was disrespectful. I'm not arguing that, but this is just a fact of the situation. And the thing that they were most called is the N-word, outside of what their name was. And they weren't brave enough to say, "That's not my name. Don't call me that. You probably get a whipping for that." So they would just, and like I said, they would eventually become identified with that term and use it amongst themselves as well. Because, like I said, even people who meant it in an affectionate way, whites who may not have been racist or just used it neutrally, they use that same word as well. So it wasn't always just a mean word. And again, it's just my opinion, and it's kind of backed up by this book that I mentioned, Our Nig, by Harriet Wilson, if anyone wants to look it up.
So you're saying the word Negro was kind of stitched in society as like a norm, so it wasn't a bad word. It was just something that we, you know.
Yeah, I think it started out as a neutral word. Then word Negro simply meaning black, and then the derivative of it, nigger, and then being the spirit behind the word. There were people who, when they used it, it was used negatively. Like the word African. If some of us say booty scratching African over here, and we can use any word with either a negative or a positive connotation. I think that's perhaps the same story with the N-word. So I don't think that it's hip hop, like we say, that gave it a term of endearment. I think that's kind of a simplified outlook on it.
We ain't say that.
Well, yeah. Well, the idea that
Sunshine, quick question. Do you think when they went to West Africa and got the slaves from the coast over there that they didn't know the ethnicity of the slaves they were getting? Like they didn't know that these people were Wolof, or these people were Fulani, or these were Akan, or these were Mandinka, or did like exactly?
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah,
It's business. So
I don't know. My guess is that they didn't. I don't know. My guess is that they
know it was a business. Yo. You know where you get your products from, yo.
And I don't think they cared. I think they saw them all as Negro, and they didn't necessarily care.
No, they did care because they would get certain tribes that listen. Certain tribes had strengths and certain things, right? So they learned how to clap. They knew what tribe they was getting. Some tribes was warrior tribe. Don't get them. Doc, you man, it's a great book you had me reading, Doc.
Yeah. The Portuguese in West Africa.
Man, some of them dudes, they were like, we ain't even gonna mess with them, yo. We go over, they be killing.
I mean, but they even tell you, and shout out to Brother Garfield. He went over to London, and they have a museum that's over there right by the harbors, like some museum over there. And they tell you the names of the ship, who was on the ship, what was the ethnicities and everything. That stuff. I mean, we don't even have to go over to London. You can go right down to New Orleans.
Slave force.
There's a plantation right down. Hold on, Sunchild. I just sat and listened for 10-15 minutes, right? So in New Orleans, there's a plantation. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What's the name of that plantation in New Orleans? Hold on, because I went New Orleans plantation. As soon as I see the name, I know it. New Orleans plantations. I'm Googling it right now. Not the Oak Alley plantation. The Whitney plantation. There we go. The Whitney plantation. So if you go to the Whitney plantation, it was a brother that did some beautiful research down there. There's like a memorial dedicated to the enslaved Africans who were on that plantation. They have their names. They have their ethnicities right there on the memorial. Like soon as you walk in on the right hand side. I mean, if I while you all are talking, I can pull it up for you. But so they definitely were aware of their ethnicities. Okay, but y'all can go ahead and continue to build. I'm gonna find it right now, Brother Ankh, and bring that up for him.
He brought up some books to give his explanation, but there's all kinds of other books that also goes to the contrary of what he's talking about too. You know, when you deal with Randall Kennedy and the nigger, and also what's that? I think that play that Huckleberry Finn wrote when he was talking about the black folks and the niggers. So there's always a counter to what the brother is talking about because the information is there and is in the universities.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that this theory, if I can even call it that, would be an absolute.
No, it was negative though, yo. It was
Yeah,
negative.
and I'm certainly not arguing that it is not. I'm certainly not arguing that it is not negative. But the only pushback I'm giving is whether at what point could it have been a term of endearment, if you want to call it that?
Oh, I said in the African American community did that. The youth did that. Well, we started using it in a way like, "What's up? What's up, my nigga? What's up?" We do it right now. That's not a term of hate.
According to this book by this lady who was a slave, she said even the kindest people in the family.
She was a what?
What's her name?
She was a mixed slave. I think she's, according to this book, she was considered an indentured servant. But the name of the book is Our Nig. And she said that her slave mistress was very cruel to her, but she said even the kindest people in the family called her nig, and I'm expecting.
Was she mulatto?
Yes.
Hey, did you ever read? You ever read any of the book, the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn? When he breaks down Tom Sawyer and the Huckleberry Finn. So you have stories that's depicted and breaking down the derogatory things and things that went on that can counter this woman. I mean, there's plenty of books, plenty of scholars that's already this stuff right here has already been explained. So I get what you're saying where you're what you might have read, but there's other books too that breaks this stuff down.
So hey, question to the panel. So, quick question, real quick. I'm 48 years of age, so maybe y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of slightly remember when 48. Yep, yeah, when they brought it wasn't a census that they came through with Jesse Jackson. So before we were called African American, what was it?
Afro American. The newspaper that's in Baltimore, Maryland. Man, so before with that history, Afro American.
Before then, were we called Negro or was it colored?
No, before then, it was Negro, and then it went to colored.
It was Negro, right?
It was niggas, Negro, colored. Then we put over that, then we were Afro Americans, then we settled on African Americans.
We was every darn thing. Midnight.
But yeah,
that's part of the growth of the culture. Though the culture is still young. You know, and America is still a young nation. Y'all know that, right?
Yes.
In the grand scheme of things, you know what I mean. You look at civilization in Africa and Europe. You got old civilization to go 4,000 years. Think about that. America is new. Yeah, that's very, very new. And so African American culture is brand new to the planet Earth. I mean, brand spanking, and it was formed off of people that was enslaved, and they do this insidious thing. So they know the tribes you come from. The issue is what they did was they mixed you up on purpose. That way you wouldn't have that unity. Mix you up. Then you got to develop a whole new bond, right? Get mixed up.
Was that developed? Go ahead.
Yeah, they won't, because you don't want a whole tribe of one tribe together. Yo, they can move together for real. You know what I'm saying? You got a whole same tribe on the planet T. You got a problem, man, yo, because now we got a bond already. That's like putting a whole thing together.
Of a writer, Randall Kennedy?
Never heard of him.
I was asking Dr. Ma'at, have you ever heard of Randall Kennedy? He wrote a book. He wrote a book called The Strange Career of a Troublesome Word. It's coming out of Harvard School of Law. His name is Randall Kennedy. I've been reading some of it. He's been breaking it down from a scholarly perspective.
What's his name? Well, I got this. It's recorded, so I'm gonna make sure I come back and get this reference, that reference from you. But
Robert Kennedy. I'll say it again one more time. Robert Kennedy.
And what was the name of the book?
I mean, not Robert. Randall Kennedy.
Randall Kennedy.
And what's the name? The Strange Career of a Troublesome Word.
The Strange Career of a Troublesome Word.
And it's called.
It's right here. Yep. They actually have it on Amazon. Let me put this in my Let me put this in my. And you said this was some good work. This is a no.
Yeah, well, I didn't get all the way through it, but it's been intriguing because I wanted to see his perspective.
Okay. All right. Cool. But this is what I was talking about, warriors. This is what I was talking about. The wall. So it's called the Wall of Honor. And this is at the Whitney Plantation down in New Orleans. So it says this memorial is dedicated to over 350 people who were enslaved on this plantation between 1752 and 1865. It says the names come from inventories, sale records, and manumission documents. Manumission documents, West and Central African names can be seen on the memorial. So that's what kills me when people always say, well, we ain't come from West and Central Africa. Anyway, that's a whole nother Ankh, I'm telling you. So anyway, it says West and Central African names can be seen on this memorial, as well as European names given to these people by the enslavers. All right. So if I go here, this is what the wall looks like. I wanted to show the brother.
Personal photos.
Yeah, this is what I took when I was down there. And so I was trying to, I took a video, and I don't know if anybody, you probably can't see it, but I'm showing it on here. So if you want to go back to the playback and like zoom in on it, this is an actual video of all of the names of the people. And they tell you, like, you know, the ethnicities that they were from, you know, then their names. And some of them, like the plaque said, some was European names, some were African names, you know, and I went around the whole thing. I don't know if you all can see.
Yeah, we see it.
My cousin in the background, he was with me. They tell you the year that they were there. Look at this. I'm just playing the whole video. It's only like 15 more seconds left, but you all can pause it, go back, look at it, zoom in on it, and you see me walking. I don't know if you see my little shadow right there, but just trying to capture this entire wall. So I just wanted to show this just to prove or provide evidence that they knew where we were from in West Africa and Central Africa. They knew ethnicities. They knew it.
So that's and that's the issue with this brand new pseudo history, and that's exactly what it's called. It's called pseudo history, that was produced not by the halls of academia, but by just, you know, people claiming to fight for the history and the hidden history of African Americans, man. And it's all bull crap, man. And it's crazy to me.
Look at this. Look at this. It tell you when they were born. Look at this. This person was from the Congo. Look at this. Congo nation. Ganga nation.
Was this?
Look at this. Yamba nation. Yeah, this is in Louisiana at the Whitney Plantation.
Is that in New Orleans?
Yeah, this is the honor, the Wall of Honor. That's right there when you walk in. So they tell you, look at this. Congo, Soso, Portland, Mina. They tell you Chamba, Mandingo.
See?
Yeah, Mandingo's here. You know, so they tell you when the person was born. Look at this. Go ahead. Hold on 1 second. And then it also tells you what their job was. Domestic, carpenter. This is the Bambara nation, carpenter, burrow maker, domestic. They tell you this stuff. This is right on the wall. So I was looking to see if I had any still shots, and I do. Look at this. I do. I'm zooming in on them. I don't know if you all can see.
Yeah, loud. We see it super clear.
Yeah, herdsman. Yep, Conga, Soso.
Baptiste.
Yep, Baptiste is telling you the names of these brothers and sisters who were there. Hold on. Look at this. This person, Celeste, she was a babysitter.
Oh wow.
You know, this person right here, Griff, blacksmith, carpenter. You know, so yeah, so they
where's the Indian name? Where's the black indigenous names at? See, y'all, see, I don't need friends like that. That's my point. I want to see them names on the walls, right? We got prominent people promoting this foolery, right? But you can't go take a picture of it and see it. What's the joke?
No, we were trying to go to the Charles Dessalines, the 1811.
You agree with that? You agree with that? That we was black? We was black in America. You agree with that?
At that point, we wasn't.
I'm talking about. I'm asking, do you agree? Not you. I'm asking, do you agree that the indigenous people was black people?
Oh,
be quiet.
Come
on, George. That's George. Come on, George. I'm talking to George.
I answer it this way.
I'm talking. There you go. He start with that. Whenever they start with that, boy, you know, here
see my picture right there. Did I look like a black lady on there?
No, George, that's not what I'm asking.
No, I'm answering the question for you. Do you have like a black lady on there?
That's not an answer, George.
No, I'm answering it for you. I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Why? Why not just answer? Then explain why you answered that.
Well, no, like I said, my mother's side, my family is Cuban, and they look more like the native people down there. They didn't call them.
George, your grandmother looked just like yes.
Hold on. Girl speak is saying it wasn't no African name on there, not one African name. Did you read the plaque with us? Because there were a mixture of African and European names. Girl speak. But go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, what you say? Oh, I hear what you said. He said.
I said George was an indigenous black people over here.
What indigenous black people? I don't know. I know what the indigenous, what they show in science.
It's a loaded question.
I mean, for me, now what I believe and what the science say right now, what I believe we was everywhere, but the science say otherwise.
So you getting better, George. You know what, George? I like you, George.
I'm telling you how I feel.
Because me and George had knocked down, drag out fights.
That's why I said.
My man.
In my own family, what I'm saying in my own family, my grandmother and her family, they are indigenous people, but they wasn't black.
He actually was a black Indian. Wait, because indigenous is not the term they use for Indians, right? Right?
It's a term that's broad for people that's just indigenous to whatever land, man.
So, but yeah. So
why is that a loaded term, though? I say it was indigenous black.
Well, because you didn't tell us what black mean to you. You just used the term black.
Black. I'm saying black.
It was everywhere.
What does that mean, though?
It was everywhere.
Let me if I can,
you heard it was everywhere. Y'all crazy.
He was living in the
if I can just ask a really quick question of the folks on the panel. What was the Native American word back in the day for blacks, for slaves, for black slaves? When Native Americans, what were the word that they used for blacks?
I don't know,
man.
Probably varied by tribe.
For example, if black slaves were to run away and stay with Native Americans, what would the natives call them?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know unless you're saying that maroon is of indigenous origin.
No. Well, from my understanding, it depending on the tribe, they would have different words that would describe a black person, same as a Negro, or a particular word for slave. But in certain contexts, they would also use the term for blacks that the Europeans used, because they were speaking the European language. For example, if a European came looking for a black slave, they would say, "Have you seen certain N-words around here?" And the slaves would use that same language as well to refer to the slaves, or whatever term the Europeans would use. The Native Indians or Native Americans would also adopt those terms. But I'm saying that to say, is it possible that the Native Americans, in using these words like the N-word, when communicating with the blacks, who perhaps used that word as well, because like I said, they had become acculturated into that word themselves, and perhaps used it as a more neutral or an endearing word because they were describing themselves. So is it possible that the Native Americans in those days used the N-word, but not as negatively, with a neutral connotation?
Possibilities are endless. But I would like to say to the chat though, real quick. A person said, why would they keep records? Because it was a business, and normally when you moving products and goods, you keep meticulous records. That's why when these people are denouncing the African transcontinental kidnapping slave trade, when they denounce it and they say, well, how could they keep you at the bottom of a ship and all that? And I would like to say this right now for the listening audience, man. It was $1 billion industry. Okay, billions of dollars industry. So you don't spend millions of dollars of filling up a ship, because that's what they did. People say ain't no slave ships. Wait a minute. They take these cargo ships, right? Fitted with cargo. Okay. They go to Africa. They drop off cargo. So you don't want to go over there with an empty ship, right? A slave ship. You want to go over there with a ship that can carry cargo, right? You take it over there. You drop it off. You wait for a month or two, okay, on the shores. Now you fit the ship for a different type of cargo.
Come on.
You hear me say it? I said a different type of cargo. I didn't say humans. I said a different type of cargo. What was the different type of cargo? It was the chattel slaves. They called them chattel because it was products and goods, right? And you look and you wait till they fill these ships up, right? You fit the ship for human cargo now, all right? And you're going to take care of them because you're not going to spend millions of dollars of going there and getting them, right? And then mess up your products and goods. That'd be almost like going to Africa, okay, getting some gold or getting some rum, whatever you would get, and then take off and throw it in the ocean. Who does that? You want to make sure that cargo gets there, right? Why do you want to make sure it get there? You want to make sure it get there, right? So you can sell it. Now,
but I'm not going to act like we were treated good on the ship.
That's not what I said.
Because it's accounts. No, I'm saying, like you say, you want to make sure that the product get there.
That's right.
But how many people you know? I think they said 3 out of 5. I got to go back and get the account. Died right on the right there in on the ship.
Okay,
so it wasn't, you know, some people died because of starvation. You had disease. Some people got thrown over. So it wasn't like we're going to take care of this precious cargo because we want to.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is they took care of you good enough. It doesn't make sense. And plus, they didn't keep you at the bottom of the ship. I don't know that history, right? Because you're going to die. You can't be down there.
Some people died though.
Let me make my point.
Okay, please. But they
weren't at
the top. They weren't at the top of the ship sitting there this.
Yeah, they was.
No, they wasn't. No, they wasn't.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. At nighttime, you put them down. That's where you sleeping at. During the day, you gotta get up. You gotta do some exercise. You gotta feed you. You gotta drink some water. You gotta get some air. You can't keep them at the bottom of the ship.
They tried that, and then they said that it's accounts that where they said we tried to do that, but it was suicide. They said it was suicide. This came out their mouths.
Of course.
They said they wanted to bring them upstairs, and they did, but they often what happened was we get free, we take over the ship. A bunch of shipwrecks. They got it. They got a shipwreck museum right in the Bahamas, right in Freeport. They got a shipwreck museum right there. So I'm saying they tried to do that, and then they said to bring them up on board was like committing suicide. So they kept us at the bottom. Ankh. We can debate that.
Let's have a debate on that.
Ankh, let's have a debate. Goddamn. Let's have a debate.
Let's have a debate on that.
I'm gonna speak to what the brother said when he was talking about the N-word used as endearment with the Indians, right? I think that Dr. Ma'at showed something on the plantation, and she showed the people naming, telling you who they were and what they were doing, right? So if you look at during the Yamasee time, the Yamasee Wars and the Seminole Wars, them people wasn't using the N-word. They knew who they were at the time. This is early on. They still was connected to their homelands. They wasn't talking about no nigga. They was telling you they knew who they were. They wasn't acquiescing to none of that. They were still rebelling. This was the rebellion. You had 1811 in Louisiana, in New Orleans. You had the Charles Dessalines. You had what's the name? When they had that uprising, the German Coast uprising. Those people knew who they were, and that was right after the Haitian Revolution when a lot of them came in. They wasn't calling themselves no nigga. Yeah. They knew themselves.
So question, Queen King, to build on what you're talking about, can you talk about? Because you'll definitely know more about it than me. The Geechee language. That did that not derive from the slaves not speaking a common language and coming up with one language amongst each other that they can't speak? Is that what that is? The Geechee language in Louisiana, the slaves down there.
Is he talking to George or he talking to me?
Who was that for?
Anybody who's familiar with the Geechee language and its origin.
Well, that was they would say that was a mixture of the Africans and the natives coming together. That was a language that was made up of the different cultures that came together in the way they communicated.
Yeah, the slaves, right? That came over.
And slaves and the natives, and that's where
exactly. That's a process. That's an answer. That did the brother's question about what they called each other nigger. No, they were coming up. They were coming in harmony with each other, and they came up with a common language and custom. Because that's still up today, right? That Geechee, it's a culture, right?
A lot of the slaves joined with the Yamasis, and at the time with the Seminole to fight against the Creeks. So they're that's where a lot of those languages came from. That was a communication, the way that they communicated.
Okay.
So no, they wasn't, but I just like it's common sense though. It's basic common sense. Like we almost 200 years into the future. If you go way back then and it's still slavery time, they not going with nigga. They still know who their mothers are. They know where they come from. So no, they that's what they fighting for. If it's not like now where you can't get these Negroes to fight against the system, they fight each other. But back then it's hard to keep them enslaved. It's keeping uprisings because they don't want to be enslaved. They want to be who they are. That's why you had all these uprisings.
I'm not sure if you guys are FB or ADOS and believe that there were Americans here who have tribes here in America who became slaves, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to Africans who came over on the ship who a few generations in had forgotten their lineage and their history and were pretty much speaking. They were pretty much speaking a new language and lost their identity. I'm not sure how long. If I could just finish, brother, I'm not sure how long after being here and landing they lost that identity, where you would say these people actually knew their tribe and still held on to their language. I'm not sure exactly how long, but from my limited knowledge, it wasn't very long, and it was an intent of the slaveholder to strip the slaves of the knowledge of themselves for a reason.
Well, they stopped being a slave number with 1800 and something, 1838, 1833. The last, what was it, around that time?
Bro, say that again. In the 1800s, it's still records of the Africans that came here that knew who they were because they were still important Africans all the way up until what was it, 1820? After during the Stono Rebellion, they was bringing. Then they stopped, and then they started again. Then they started the breeders here. So they were still bringing. People still knew who they were.
You saying and for how long do you suppose that they would have still kept a knowledge of themselves and their history and their tribes and their culture and so on and their language? How long do you think these Africans kept that knowledge?
Well, I'll explain it to you this way, and Dr. Maada appreciate this because she knows this. We didn't. Our things was oral. It was an oral teaching. It was a word of mouth. It was part of the culture. So a lot of things were said in the music and the dance and the drums. It was part of the culture. So you were the embodiment of who you were. And we did certain sounds and certain cultures to keep a weight that the white man couldn't understand. That's all in the teachings, my brother. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of those uprisings came because the people came here, they knew who they were. Do you know they had a mandate where they stopped bringing slaves in from the Congo because you couldn't enslave them? They kept rebelling. All this stuff is written in the history.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is the Itsy Bitsy Spider story. Does that not have West African ties or like Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, it was just funny growing up. That story, I didn't never know its roots.
That's the
okay.
Go ahead, bro.
And how long after actually being here, getting off the ships, brother, are you suggesting that the Africans started to refer to each other as the N-word and generally and having lost their identity
we 200 years in right now from 1820 something. So we exactly 200 years in.
Yeah, well, and how long after being here how long do you think we've been using the N-word to describe ourselves?
Since what?
What are you talking about? Let me say this real quick. Let me say, hey Doc. So yeah, I tap out. I don't want to debate that. So yeah, you got it. Yeah, I want to tap out because
All right,
no. I
in that
want
case, in that case,
let me
just
make
allow
this.
me to say
Hold on
thank
for a
you.
minute,
Just allow me to
Sunchild.
say no.
Sunchild,
I'm
come on,
gonna go.
man.
Just allow me to say
No, you do
no.
this
Just
on
allow me to
purpose,
say
man.
thank you to Dr. Ma'at. Thank you very much for allowing me on, sister.
Ain't
I appreciate
no
the time.
problem. No problem.
And,
No
and,
problem.
and peace to everyone on the chat. Thank you for the conversation.
I
Peace.
No,
thought you were gonna
peace
keep
to
going.
you.
Keep being nice,
90,
Sunchild.
Thank you.
90, 93, 93, 93.
Wait,
You have
Doc,
the floor.
What's up?
I want to say I don't want to
Okay,
debate that.
okay. Go ahead.
I don't want to debate that. So, you got like a tight pack and a loose pack when you bring in slaves in, right?
Right.
So I had to realize that they had insurance on them.
There you go. I had it. I had the knife right here. Look, I had the knife right here. I was like, they didn't just treat a knife. They go ahead, go ahead. You cleaned it up. Go ahead.
They're gonna tight pack to try to compensate for those losses, and they got insurance and stuff.
There you go.
And then you brought up the point about how it's unsafe when they bring them up top because, like you said, they can jump over, right? Mutiny, all type of shit. So it varied from ship to ship on how they want to do that.
Text you? Did somebody text you?
No. I just had to think about it. No, because I forgot that it varied from ship to ship.
Okay, all right, there we go.
I think that's the I gotta meet the middle. You can't just be state. It don't take us long to think it through. No, and it don't take us long to correct that shit in real time. You get my point? Like I ain't standing there fighting that like that.
No. You said I ain't fighting it.
I had to go to some of my book and say, no. It depended on ship to ship. Yeah. Right. Then I had to remember about the insurance. Then I had to remember about the tight pack and the loose pack. Right. So you're gonna pack them tight because you said I'm gonna lose this amount. So I'm gonna put a lot in there. And it's like counting to it like it was kind of stupid. They put priority on slaves and needed their value, right? But yet you wouldn't treat them to that point where you could get more slaves over. So it was a whole wild scenario. So yeah, I think you're right.
I think, but and going back to what the guy was saying, I think like a lot of times people don't use like common sense though. Like some of the stuff that the brother was asking, and there's no disrespect to him, but he can look up Liberian, like when they created Liberian, you go from like 1820 because he asking when they're using the word nigger and how they got separated from their culture. They wouldn't have been trying to go back to Liberia and all these different places. Like Paul Cuffey and these people, they knew who they were. Now you had some groups that didn't want to leave here, that wanted to stay here. But there's written history and oral history of people that understood, knew who they were, what lands they came from. And to this day, people still can track certain things. So I can't give a.
You said what? Hold on, stop. You said what? There was people who knew where they came from.
They knew what they did. They knew where they came from. When they came, their families that came off them ships, they knew where they came from.
Hey, from Africa. I agree with that.
That's the point I'm making. That's why you can see the track of the history of when they started creating Liberia and Sierra Leone and all these different places. And like I said, Paul, you run into Paul Cuffey, you run into all these people. They knew who they were. So the history is there. So some of the questions that's asked is just like,
well, we talking about the Native American question though, like.
Well, he was asking when did we start calling ourselves nigger and using it as a term of endearment. But if you
always called ourselves nigger, right? After they did it, when you fighting, you be mad on the plantation, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. but we still at that time we still knew who we were, and there was a difference. Yeah. And he was trying to say when did we lose the knowledge and was using the word. And I don't have a definitive time to the point where we just completely just like lost the knowledge, because when you go back in history,
you mean lost the knowledge of the word being negative?
No, lost the knowledge of who we were coming off the ships.
Yeah, them after those first couple did y'all all watch Roots? I'm not saying that was a scientifically valuable, but it was, some basic information that after a couple generations, man. Once you get introduced to Christianity, which is off the rip, and once you're not allowed to practice your social cultural systems, right? That's a loss right there. It's illegal, right? Right. Using your tribal names, that's a loss. That's illegal because your names naming African naming conventions. You know what I'm saying? It had meanings to it. Okay, now you know what I mean? And so you lose all that, and so that's all you gotta do. You stop talking about it.
But I'm gonna tell you why I disagree to an extent. If we understand how they were selling us back and forth from the Caribbean to here, we know what happened after the Haitian Revolution. How a lot of Haitians came to Louisiana and also to Philadelphia in 1790 through 1790 up to 84 a lot. In the Caribbean, they still had those strong African roots and know who they were still to this day. They still have Ghana Day. They still have that stuff there. So all the way up in those times, people they still were fighting and still having insurrections based off of their African knowledge. So it still shows. That's why I disagree.
What you mean? Like you saying what time period?
During the 1800s, all the way through the fights. If you go through the Seminole Wars, all the way up to 1855, all the way through, they're rumbling. They still rebelling against the system.
Look, Ankh right here at that plantation. They have a memorial that says the 1811 slave revolt. So they call it the 1811 German Coast Revolt. There you go. George's telling the truth now, Ankh. He said, look at this. He said, they had several leaders, some of them born in Africa. So they were wilding out.
Oh, no. That's a key point. Go back to the key point.
Go ahead.
That's not what George talked about.
No, it is.
That's not what we talking about?
No, George. Go back to that. Go back to that slide. Let me show you. No, okay, Doc, go back to that slide.
Okay, I just want to show you the memorial real quick.
No, I got you. Go back to that slide.
That's when they got killed.
No. Go back to that slide. Yeah, you sure they hit.
I want to see what you want to say. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You said what? Some of them was born where, Doc?
It says the 1811 slave revolt had several leaders, some of them born in Africa. So there were some of them that were, they were brought here, but they were born over there.
So they know their history then, right?
That's the point I was making. They still know history. And then Charles Dessalines.
Yeah, but what about the ones that wasn't born in Africa? They wouldn't have known it. Not unless you pass it on.
But the key of what I'm saying is you had insurrections, the Stonewall Rebellion. All these rebellions, these people still knew who they were. They wasn't going for that crap. So what I'm saying is going all the way up into the almost out of slavery, people still was fighting, still claiming they're Africans.
I think I'm talking about two different things. So I'm thinking people fighting for their freedom regardless if they know where they came from or not. They know they're supposed to be free based off looking at other people free around.
But that's true too. I think two things should be right at the same time. But I think part of you knowing who you are will still make you fight.
You don't got to know who you is and know you're enslaved to know I want to get up out of here.
Yeah, well, you got some people.
Mistreatment of human beings will make you want to be free.
You got some people ain't want to leave.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, that's a.
They were trying to figure that out on the slave ship.
Yeah, you might not like. See, we can get technical, yo. So why not just jump off the ship? You might say, nah.
Right.
I don't want to do that. And then you might say, well, why not? Why we just walk off the plantation? Well, your grandmother and them might be too old to go with you. You might not want to leave your mother and them.
Well, I tell you what.
It's a hard decision,
ever ride from Baltimore? You ever ride from Baltimore to like South Carolina and you ride through Virginia and so you see all them open fields? You ain't walking off no plantation. Where you going?
It's hard. You can lose your life. I mean, so it's a choice. So everybody say, why everybody ain't just run. Everybody ain't built like that, yo. Everybody don't want it. Some people make it. Some shit. Even in that situation, some people make a way where they're comfortable in that situation.
But we live in a time now where you got roads and cities. Go back to the 1800s when none of that stuff.
You running, you in the middle of nowhere.
You out there in the middle of nowhere. Bobcats eating your ass.
You got not. Yeah, it ain't just leaving ain't as easy as it sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people rebelled. I mean,
all the time.
People rebelled in their own way. You know what I mean? So like you said, they may not have ran away and joined a damn, maroon community or went to a maroon town, but they rebelled in their own way. They fed the maroons information, what was going on the plantation. I mean, you get what I'm saying? People rebelled in their own ways by feeding information, by slowing down on the work. I mean, they did all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean, Brother Ankh? So everybody didn't run and everybody couldn't run. You know what I mean? So people kind of fought in their own way. 93, go ahead. You have the mic. 93 and Saint. You all go ahead and close us out.
Oh, well, I'm coming in late, but I just want to say shout out to you, Dr. Mayat. I think I spoke to you. I spoke to you one time in 2016. You put me on the phone with her. But man, you are a heavy hitter. Sus, you be putting in work. Y'all got a lot of pseudos in the chat. It's so much to say. I just want to say peace to all of y'all, and I appreciate the conversation. I was just sitting back watching. I wish that dude that ran from Ankh would have stayed because he made so many fallacious statements. So many fallacious statements. So I mean,
That made this year, yo. Even 20 years I'm trying to say that.
Yeah. So as far as the Abo thing, I wish some of them would have really came on and stepped up and, you know, because they in the chat scared. I wish they would have came up and brought some arguments for us to knock down.
Oh, we can do it. We can do it. If they want to go live, we can do it again tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? And the question could be, are we indigenous to America?
That's the title for tomorrow. We doing
we doing it tomorrow. We doing it tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow night.
Do it early.
Yeah, that's what's
early.
up.
What time you trying to do it on?
I don't know. What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow New Year's Eve or something?
Oh yeah, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I'm
so
partying tomorrow night.
You know you're gonna party. So
I'm partying tomorrow night. I'm partying tomorrow night.
Right.
You know what y'all should
I gotta take a nap. You know I'm old, so I gotta take a nap before I party. I can't just go party. I gotta get in the bed about 6, 7 o'clock and get back up about 9 or 10 and go out. You know what I mean?
Doc, when you gonna get us down at university? When you gonna get my children down there at the university?
Make them tell the truth. See as you apologize and act right.
That's right. I don't think he apologized yet. I don't think he apologized yet.
He ain't apologized.
He didn't apologize yet.
He got right on Sunday talking about, I don't know what she talking about. Y'all such shit. You did that.
Like what?
That was like 7, 8 years ago.
So what? We don't forget.
I ain't forget. I don't forget.
Yeah, you got.
I'm a woman, George. You know we don't forget.
George, she don't forget.
You know we bring stuff up. George, you know we bring. You know women. You know we bring stuff up from 10 years ago. You know.
Was we just in Brooklyn? Was you just in Brooklyn talking to my girls last year?
I came for. He talking about the Q butter science.
At the Q butter thing.
The babies. Okay, that's that. That ain't the royal treatment. You ain't got the royal treatment. You missed it.
Cam Chill had the royal treatment.
And then I was under. Hold on, I was under the opinion that you had a anti-scientific rhetoric going on there, Mr. George. I know you seen it be growing.
I got a whole.
He grew a lot. He grew a lot. He grew a lot.
No. Hey, George. I think the kids change you because it sure as hell wasn't. I ain't help. Them intelligent kids he be running around with start saying, "What the hell you talking about, Mr. George?" I know they got you, yo. I know it, yo. Them kids get you, bro.
I ain't gonna say the children
now, man. They ready for that college, man. We got to get down there.
Okay, let me know.
You got to apologize, though.
I already apologized to her. That was a long
time. No, he ain't apologized.
You ain't apologized live. You did it live, though, George.
Yeah, you ain't do it live. You was on the phone. You was on the telephone.
Phone don't
Hold on, let me play the clip. Let me play the clip.
Yeah, play the clip. Bring him back. Bring him back. Bring George back. Get him.
Oh, let me see. Let me find it. I'm about to find it right now.
Oh, they gonna find that clip, George.
That was when everybody was over there on that other channel.
Everybody was over there, dude.
All with that crazy stuff over there.
I still
No, George.
You was with the smoke.
No, I was with the smoke back then, but that was I ain't.
He apologized a little bit.
Hold on. You said you were pseudo at one time, right?
Yeah. So I'm right.
One time I ain't with all that stuff.
Oh, here it is. I got it.
We're gonna take the clip. You had to apologize for that clip. We want to get it out, just because you're on your way to Morgan State.
Man,
so we just want to get it all out.
That stuff, man. That's between leave that where it's
at. No, you can't run from that. You can run, but you can't hide.
That's the old side of the TV stuff, man.
No, it ain't just 2 years ago.
No, that wasn't 2 years ago. That was like 8 years ago.
Oh, when the pandemic wasn't 8 years ago.
No, that was like 2000. That was like no.
Yeah, bro, you was talking about the vac. You was mad because the vaccines.
No, when was the TV Awards?
Nah, that wasn't then. We ain't talking about. You know when you did.
Because look, watch this, Dr. Mott. You don't remember?
I know what it was. You can't convince me.
You don't remember?
Dr. Mott, was about the vaccines. No, you was like, nah,
that was the vaccine debate. That was.
Hold on, y'all found it.
Go ahead.
What year was it? What year? 2016.
Nope, it was during the pandemic. Nope. That's when Polite was crazy with the mic, acting like he had an electron microscope and all that crazy shit.
What year was it? Hey, no, watch this. Dr. Mike, you remember when we was at the side of the TV Awards? He walked up to me, he walked up behind me, was like, "What's up now?"
Yeah, nope. That was something different.
And Unc was selling them sneakers.
Yep. Play the clip, Doc. That's funny as I don't know what. You were like, "Oh, Doc, I don't know what she talking about." I'm like, "Oh my God, yo, she do." Because she was on there with me. We was trying to tell you. You was like, use the white man help. Something crazy, something wild.
But it wasn't about that wasn't about
no. We was talking about using the white man, and you made an excuse. You're like, "Yo, well, we ain't got no hospitals, we got it." And then you end up getting sick or something. I thought you was sick. You in there like this with the COVID mask on.
No, but the what's the name debate was different. Was separate. The what's the name debate that was with the white folks.
The vaccine debate that was separate.
Got it right here. I think.
No, don't play that, Dr. Ma.
So let me give the people some context. Let me give some context. So we were on Sinetta's platform. Hold on. We were on Sinetta's platform, and they were Sinetta. You know how you always had them wild ass conversations. So it was wild ass conversations going on. So we on there, and they talking about we don't trust the government, we don't trust this, we don't trust that. And I was listening to the conversation, and I called in, and I said, we're lying to ourselves. I said to some degree, and I didn't say we fully trust the government, but I said all of us to some degree trust the government. You know, we go to the supermarkets. We're not growing our own food, so we're going to supermarkets, which are controlled by the FDA, right? The Food and Drug Administration. We put our monies in banks, right? That's federally regulated. Our children go to public school, which is owned by the state. So to some degree, we trust the government, right? Mm-hmm. Being on the internet, using electronics, going to brush your damn teeth. You know what I mean? Going to brush your goddamn teeth every morning and getting in the shower, you know, going to the doctors, going to the hospital, right? To some degree, we all trust the government. I'm not saying that we completely trust the government, but we have a level of trust in the government. So George and the other brothers on the panel did not like what I said. So they started attacking me. Oh, she dumb. She don't know what she talking about. She don't know the difference. She don't know the difference. I'm gonna play the clip. She don't know the difference. She doesn't know the difference between survival and distrust. She don't know the difference. No, I do know the difference. And I'm gonna stand on what I said years ago, that to some degree, we all trust the government. We drive cars, right? We brush our teeth in there. The water that we use in our homes, the plumbing, the water, right? Their filtration system, their electrical system.
You got to give context to the atmosphere.
I want no atmosphere.
The electric grid
owned by Polite.
Right, the brother Ankh, the electricity, we're all on the damn grid. You get what I'm saying? The power. We have a level of trust in the government. There's no way around that. And I also said this. People who don't trust the government, they move differently. I had an aunt. She never put her money in the bank. She died at the age of 83, 84, some years ago. And she never trusted the bank. So what did she do? She kept her money under her mattress and cans. When people don't trust the government, they move a certain type of way. They grow their own foods. They're homeschooling their children. You move a certain type of way when you don't trust the government. And so the ones that, we sitting over here comfortable talking about I don't trust the government, but you getting up, brushing your damn teeth every morning, and you jumping in the shower. You're not checking out the water under a microscope, or you putting it through your own filtration system. You're not doing that. And that was my point. And people got mad when I said that, and I still stand on it. Here we go.
You was getting Ankh smoke though, because Ankh was a troublemaker back then.
Also, I was catching Ankh smoke.
You was catching.
You was on the phone. You was on the phone with me, Doc.
I'm always catching it.
Your assemblyman, and whoever represents you in your district, and I need you to give them a call or shoot them an email and let them know.
That's not me.
All right, my man went blank on us again.
That's okay. Hey, listen.
All right, it's all right. But let me get this call.
Let me tell you about that. Okay,
let me get this caller right quick because they holding on. Peace and black power to your family. What's your name and where you calling from?
Peace and black power. This is your sister, Dr. Ma'at.
Dr. Ma'at. What's happening, doctor?
Hey, Sinetta, nothing much. I just want to say peace to you, Brother Sinetta, peace to the doctor, and a peace to the pastor, and also peace to Mr. Curtis Cost. I know he had to run, but peace to him, and also peace to everyone in the chat. I love you all, including my haters. I know I got a lot of haters out there, but I still love you because I love you because you're black. And so anyway, I totally get what the message was today. I've been listening since you went live, Sinetta, and I got the notification. And so I understand what the brothers are saying. They're saying question everything. You know, as thinking people, we should question everything. And I agree with those brothers. We should. We shouldn't totally trust anything. Question all information. Investigate all information. And when someone is presenting you with what they information, make sure that they do have sources and that you fact check what they say. So I understand where the brothers were coming from, but I just want to say this to the brothers: we have to keep the same energy, So we talked a lot about, rebelling and, against the government and we don't trust the government. But we need to keep that same energy. So, for example, you have a pastor on the panel, and I'm pretty sure the pastor has a 501c3. Okay, you have a doctor on the panel.
Actually, we don't have a 501c3.
Yeah, let me finish. Let me finish, brother, and then you can go right ahead. And so, you got a 501c3. I'm pretty sure. You have another person on the panel who's a doctor, and I'm pretty sure his doctorate was awarded to him by a state institution. Okay. And so we need to just keep that same energy. Keep the same energy when you go to the supermarket. If we don't trust the government, we need to keep that same energy when we go to the supermarket, when we put our money in banks, when we send our children to the public school system, when we go to the hospital, when we go to our primary care doctors, when we take medicine, and even using the devices that we're using now to have this discussion. We're using the internet, we're using cell phones, right? We're using laptops and devices. So we need to keep the same energy, and that's all I ask.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by that? So what do you mean by that? Let them know.
When I say keep the same energy, you in one way you say, I don't trust the government, they lie to me, the media, I don't trust the government, but it's like, wait a minute, your money is in the banks. So you do trust the government, right? You go to the supermarket, so you do trust the government. You send your child to the public school system. I always say the public school system, but you educate your child. I mean, you trust the government enough to send your child there for 8 hours a day.
Come on.
So I know that it sounds good, Sinetta, to say that, we shouldn't trust the government, but we have to admit that we all trust the government to a certain degree. We have to admit that.
Brother Ankh, I stand 10 toes down on this.
10 toes down.
Still said it. I said to some degree, we all have a level of trust in the government. You sending your kid to a damn state-run institution for 8 hours a day, and you online talking about, I don't trust the government. You're lying to yourself. But hold on, because I was called all kinds of dummies. Let's keep going.
Let me take this one real quickly. So with our ministry, our ministry has been in a ministry for 23 years. I've been pastoring for 23 years. I've never pastored a church that had a 501c3 ever in my life. I've got missions in the Dominican Republic. I've got work. I've done work in South Africa as well as Kenya, and so nowhere in the world are we governed by the government whatsoever. We are it's what is called a sovereign church. I've been trying to educate Black pastors all over the United States of America to give back their 501c3s. Few of them want to listen because they're fearful. They're actually, 501c3s for a little bit of tax exemption credit that's automatically afforded regardless of being a 501c3. I have 5 adult children, and they're all, my daughter's in medical school. They're older now, but my kids went to Christian schools and they went to boarding schools because I didn't trust the system. I'm a major. If you look up Dr. Aaron Lewis, Hartford, Connecticut, you'll see my name come up publicly attacking the Hartford Board of Education. And so I'm an advocate and a human rights activist. I totally believe that the government has overreached in many areas. I completely believe that the government does not represent our people. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a registered libertarian because
all right, let me just get to George. Let me just
Black folks should be and force and group. I mean, were you?
All right. Well, first and foremost, Brother Garfield, I want to. All right. Well,
for that. None, and I'm stunned by that. Democrat than being foundational Black, being time that the Democrat, and I get what you know.
So everywhere you see the Democratic Party ruling in the United States of America are the most poorest and impoverished and decimated communities in the United States of America. And the reason why is because white, rich people control the party and they basically give Black people what we love, titles.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say we use the government. I thought about that because
What year was this, Dr. White?
4 years ago.
Yeah,
4 years ago.
I'm quite aware of how it works at the state level, at the national level, at the global level. And I get what you're saying. I do support good government when it works to empower people and create balance. I think government can do some good work. And I think what Dr. Lewis just said about the Democratic Party, I just want to add something to that.
Oh,
I've been noticing in my lifetime that
George?
the Democratic Party, which I just want to take a step back. The Democratic Party
took mine off.
And when I say to black people, you know what they say to me? Well, what about the Republicans?
Hold on, family. Hold on 1 second.
It's Garfield playing everything back.
Yeah.
George Macon, who totally didn't understand what I say, and it kind of went over everyone's head.
Right. Oh, well,
Thank you, Dr.
Okay, all right, go to the next caller.
Let me go to the next caller. All right, thank you. Let me get my man.
Yeah, you can feel it coming.
Hold on, family. Hold on 1 second.
This was all up for. Up started.
He cut off Dr. Mayat because he knew George Macon was calling. All right, he didn't want you to respond. But Dr. Mayat, go ahead, man. You could talk. Go ahead, sis.
All right. Well, first.
So he said. So Garfield cut it off because George Macon was right behind me. So this is me and Garfield talking about it, and he played what I said. But he said, "Hold on, Dr. Mayat, I got another call." And so that's what Garfield was just saying. George Macon was beeping in, and he said, "Go ahead, Dr. Mayat, talk." So now this is me 4 years ago talking about what he said.
First and foremost, Brother Garfield, I want to say peace and power to you, brother. Of anti-government rhetoric, for 2 hours. Here it is, a pastor.
Okay, so I was heated about that, but we had to go back and find the original clip. That's me and Garfield talking about what happened. So I got to go back to that original interview on Sinetter's platform and grab what he said. Yeah, we're gonna have fun. I'm gonna find it.
Are you sure he ain't play his part?
Let me go back and listen.
Your man Chris Moore say Scotty B from the record store on Saratoga and Howard. You bugging, Ninja. It say he never used that word.
See, you know what, too?
Around real brother Joe.
But see, you know what?
I say I grew up with Scotty B. I called him Scotty. He wasn't Scotty B. By the time Doc and him ran across him, he was Scotty B. I'm talking about when he was.
I found him. I found
I
it.
told you. Go ahead.
But see, the energy and a lot of that stuff. Me now, like a year from 50, was bad because we would be arguing like that. But when we met each other, what people don't know behind the scenes, when we all met each other, we wasn't talking to each other like that.
Because you had to fight. That's my point.
But them niggas couldn't fight.
They couldn't fight. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I left that alone over there because I didn't like I was getting a part of that energy. That's not who I am.
Found it. I see your commercial with the found it. Here's George Macon's rebuttal to what I said. Here we go.
I told you.
We found it. Here we go. Here we go.
And then y'all could do what y'all gotta do. All right. Hold on.
You're supposed to find that.
Turn this on.
I know golf is gonna play it. I knew he had it.
Trying to get in here.
Hello?
All right. Peace and Black Power family. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is George Macon. I just wanted to call in real quick.
Go ahead, George.
I'm just tired of people saying when you have people say that they don't trust the government just because you got some type of education or you got money in the bank. Like, we live in America. We got to feed ourselves. We got money in America. We are a part of America, but we're still black in America. And with all the things that happen to us, a lot of us, we shouldn't trust the government. If we speak out and speak about our distrust for the government, just because we got jobs here, that makes it that's relevant. I don't understand how people come up with those talking points, especially in the pro-black sector. Sometimes it's unbelievable when I hear. I mean, I understand maybe other groups or black people that's not in the pro-black.
So you saying like when Dr. Ma'at would say things like, "Well, come on, you gotta believe in the government because you got money in the bank." So you say your kids so you saying that that's a bad point. That's a bad analogy.
That's a terrible analogy. How can you be a black person? How can anybody, not just Dr. Ma'at, but anybody, be Black in America, that teach history, that teach African history, that teach about all the atrocities and things that we've been through. We go get the education because of what we've been through. We go to get knowledge. We go to make money where we can take care of our families. Our education, and a lot of our achievements is based off of trauma because of the communities we come from. We work real hard to push through because of trauma. So to say that is totally disrespectful and disingenuous. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And when they say that, anybody that's pro-Black should cut them off immediately.
So I should be cut off immediately because I stated a fact, which is to some degree. So I said we trust the government. We have some level of trust in the government. We do. It's a fact. You wouldn't be taking a damn shower in your house if you just didn't trust the government. You wouldn't. To some degree, we do trust the government, and I stand on that 4 years ago. But hold on, I'm going to continue to play George's. I want
George kept going.
George kept going. Yeah, and people like that. He said people like that shouldn't even be in the community. They should be cut off. Oh my gosh.
Not allowed. George, I come from the militant background. Like
wow.
you, I can tell you do too.
Now you hear Sarnetta? George come from a militant background.
You say things like, "Oh, how can you trust it?" You can't say you don't trust the government when you sending your kids to school, when you got jobs here, when you got money in your banks, and you work. So what I'm saying is, look at the opposite side of that. So because you are a professor or a doctor or a teacher, that means you believe in the government.
That was just a terrible. I was like, when I heard him say that, I was just like, Jesus Christ. I'd never go on this platform again, because then I just see the level that I'm arguing with. Like, none of this stuff makes sense.
That's what you're saying to us.
Yeah, you never came back after that.
Pretty much.
And look at you, and George agreed pretty much.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, you got it. You hit it on the hammer on the nail. You hit it.
I'm like, oh my God.
It's all right for you. Like, for example, Dr. Ma'at, she believes in the government.
I never said I believed in the government. I said we all trust. I said we all have a level of trust. We all trust the government to a certain degree. We all put trust in the government. That was my point. And now he talking about she believe in the government because she's a professor at a university. The same university that he said, yeah, you're right. But then he just asked me, y'all live, could he bring his children to my university? Hold on.
Because she's a teacher at a college. So Dr. Ma'at is letting us know she believes in the government. And we need to believe.
I never said I believe in the government.
I believe in the government when it's run right.
All that though.
In the government, if we say that we got our money in the banks, no, we don't believe in the government.
No, we don't have to.
I don't believe in the goddamn government, and I got money in the bank. That don't mean I believe in the government because I got my damn money in the bank. Where I supposed to put it on my mattress?
Yeah.
You can. Yeah. When you don't trust the banks, you do put your money in your mattress.
Yeah,
absolutely.
My aunt did it. About the government, federal government,
FDIC.
Insured.
Being black. Being black, we teach on the Ma'afa. Being black in this country,
on my sister Ma'at. I love my sister.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. He was banging. He was definitely banging. He was banging.
Man, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not even gonna use the term "I'm not banging" because for me, where we
right there you go. Right, right there you go.
Now, I seen people all day saying sources and fact check, and I get all that. But if we're going to use that analogy that my sister used, when we look at the people that was there before us that was hanging from trees, that was dying, getting dogs sick on them just so we can go to these institutions to get education, where we can compete in the capitalist system, that had nothing to do with trusting the government. That had something to do with us having to get into, because we can't repatriate back to Africa. We live here. We're forced here. We're here. So we got to make the best of what we have while we're here. And the way to do that, to compete, is to get education, to make money, to build things for your family. So to say that, when I hear that, use that as an analogy, I think that's disrespectful, because especially the people that's intelligent. You can't come and just sit and just say something like that, because coming from Baltimore, being through what Dr. Ma'at probably been through and what I've been through, we go to get education based out of desperations from the areas we come from to make something better of ourselves based off of what the system done to us systematically. So no, we don't trust them. Our drive we have is based off the non-trust of the government. That's the drive we have, especially some of the ones that's educated.
What the?
Right.
When you look at the Dr. Leonard Jeffries, how did that? Let me just say this last part, and I'm gonna hang up.
He couldn't even stop.
Jeffries and Dr. Clark.
Yeah, well, I didn't say nothing disrespectful.
Based off the non-trust
we just disagreed on that point.
That would push them even further, and that's why we push forward. So come on with that.
Good point.
Come
Thank
on
you, George.
Yeah.
George,
No, but I
I
didn't
wanna
call
just
out
say
a name and say that this. Oh my God, he just threw another.
What George is saying is 100%.
We disagree with the point, but another thing too, though, we gotta remember, at that time I'm like 2-3 years off the street.
Yeah,
So,
you guys can go ahead, man. Respond.
Yeah.
All right. So
Go ahead.
Yeah,
you told me I should have been out. I should have. People like that don't need to be in the community. And
I didn't say that.
You did.
I did say
people
that.
like
Early
that
on,
shouldn't be in
but
the
you gotta remember
community.
too, though.
And she
But you
shouldn't
gotta
be in
remember
the.
too, though.
And you said you was banging. You said it.
You said I'm banging. You was like, I ain't saying that. You was like, I ain't saying that. You said I'm banging. I ain't saying that.
You gotta look at. Look at like a lot of us come off the streets, and we come off the street with knowledge. And on that time, I'm like probably 2 years removed from the street. So I'm acquiring knowledge, like where I'm at now with my knowledge, different years later. But back then, no, I was banging in the street, and came from the streets to the knowledge. Yeah, I was banging on certain shit. So the way I articulated myself is different than the way I articulate myself now. So yeah, but
was I right, George?
It is what it is.
George, was I right about something?
Yeah, I'm just saying, but that's the point I'm making.
I'm cool. I got my retribution. Go ahead, Doc. Get yours. I got mine.
We all got our growth.
I'm good.
But and then on top of that atmosphere over there was vicious.
Nah, don't blame that atmosphere.
No, it is, man.
I thrived in the same.
I can prove. There's a lot of videos over there we can play that we say, well, that wasn't our best day. It's a lot of things.
I had good days over there. All my great days beating y'all.
No, what? No, what?
Anti-scientific, trying to mess up evolution. I ain't never lost over there. Great. I'm feeling good. How about you, Doc?
Oh, I feel real good.
Polite saying they got electron microscopes, and you ain't putting no 3 million for no electron microscope. You tripping?
No, well, we got to get our kid. But I'm gonna tell you what happened.
You apologize yet, though?
No, he didn't apologize yet. He was banging on me. He was banging on me. Remember, he said that I'm banging on. He said I'm. So that's I ain't banging. He said I am. People like that. People like her shouldn't be in the community.
No,
but people like you now are saying, "Can I come to your university?"
No, listen, that's cool. But 3 years ago, we all got on the phone. And I apologize to you on the phone.
Not live.
It wasn't live because it happened. Publicly, you banged on me, but you can't bang on somebody publicly and then apologize. Privately.
Hold on. What I'm saying is, I apologized. Then we seen each other at the sign of the TV awards, and man, you sat in the back and talked for a while. Then
I saw you at the Q Butter joint.
No, you must say at the sign of the TV awards, we saw each other.
Yeah, but it was kind of in passing because we were vending, and I looked at you, and I was like, "Oh,
no, you remember? You walked up to me. I had my back to you. He was like, "What's up now?" And you,
I did. I said, "What's up?" I said, "What's up now?" You was like, "Nah."
No, but that's you don't remember. That's when I met your son, and we were all back in the back talking because Unc was back there too. We talked for a while.
Right, but I said, I did. You kept walking. I said, yeah, what's up now? Because
you
was talking all that smack.
For a while. You don't remember.
Okay.
All right, we're here right now, though, George. What is going to be?
Yeah.
What? Oh no! I don't know. Listen, I apologize. Listen, that damn right. I apologize on the phone. I apologize now. That's not how I carry myself and my content. People know who I am. I'm not. That's not even who I am. So no, I definitely apologize. But
appreciate that, George.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Appreciate you for manning up. I take back all the cruel jokes I had. The one
oh my God!
The one when you seen you in the hospital with the COVID mask on, like big up in the white man hospital with the COVID mask on. I posted on Facebook. I'm gonna take it down. I was like, if this is a man that don't trust the government in the hospital with a COVID mask on, I take it back, George. I take it back.
Got a lot of stuff riled up over there. Unc was responsible. You caught Unc smoke.
I did. I always caught Unc smoke.
You caught Unc smoke.
Always. You know, Dr. Umar Johnson is mad with me right now over Unc, right?
Yeah.
He is pissed with me. He was pissed. I reached out to him to come on the platform to have a conversation about Black love, because he's, anti-interracial and all that. So I wanted to bring him on and talk about that, his position on interracial relationships. And he told, first of all, he wasn't answering my calls. I was hitting his phone, texting him, hitting him. And I was like, damn, no, he used to respond to my telephone calls. Wouldn't respond. He was unresponsive. So then I had one of my elders reach out to him. And my elder was like, yo, Dr. Ma trying to get at you. He was like, well, I don't fool with her, because she was with Ankh and them. They was banging on my school. They was banging on my school, and she was with Ankh.
What school? He ain't got no school to bang on, but go ahead.
So I was catching, George ain't lying, Ankh. I always catch your strays. Yeah. Always. So he mad at me. He mad at me because Ankh was banging on him hard. So now he mad with me because of my proximity to Ankh. So I always catch your strays, Ankh.
And that day, Sinetta was against what the Amara squad was talking about, and we
vaccines. It was vaccines.
That day, yeah, we was riding on that side, so it was just smoke.
Vaccines.
It was smoke.
I couldn't understand how nobody couldn't see that African Americans wasn't never even complaining about vaccines. That ain't never been a conversation in our community through the damn pandemic. We talk about how like Tommy went to jail for 50 years, building court fed time. Greg went to college and wanted to sell drugs while he was home and got put out of college. You know what I'm saying? This person got shot by the police. Yo, robbed this store. Yo, getting money over there on Racetown and Rogers. But you ain't never heard them say, well, Will and them died from vaccines. We ain't never had that conversation. So I never could understand why now. Right. See what I'm saying? Right. That ain't never been a conversation.
Period. You was just told, go get your vaccines and shut up.
It's fine. And we never died. And we all hypocrites as we going against it right now because it's still working in our system. It don't go nowhere. How about that? Funniest thing ever. You just take time to read.
No, that debate was you wasn't there at the debate, Dr.
No, my mom was in the hospital. So
I was kicking her information though. How about that? I was kicking her slides. She definitely prepared some slides for me. Professional data set slides.
Yo,
they ran me off the stage. No, get that down. It was crazy.
Where Asar at, man? Asar, that was my dude, man.
I talked to Asar the other day.
Oh man. No,
but y'all, I got it. But it definitely was. But y'all, I want to show off my Kwanzaa shirt. My Kwanzaa shirt, it says love. I got my Kanara right here. So I wanted to show my Kwanzaa sweatshirt off before we got out of here. But y'all, I got to run. We've been on here almost 3 hours. But thank you, George. Thank you, Brother Ankh. Brother Ankh, going live with some abos tomorrow. You said early?
Yeah, early. Yeah.
So we're going to just tell them we just going to let them know we want all the smoke. Abos pull up.
Pull up.
All right. So we'll do it tomorrow. We'll figure out a time. Maybe like tomorrow early afternoon.
If I'm 18% native,
you ain't no ab. I'm 18%.
No. You just had some of your ancestors are Native American, yo.
Yeah, that's
a proud thing to celebrate, yo.
Absolutely.
It's all good.
Yeah, I mean you can't because you took the DNA test.
Yeah.
Right.
See, so you can't like that's real. Who am I to tell you, right? What ancestors supposed to glorify? You don't deny that you had ancestors in Africa, and why would you deny your ancestors in America? Why would you do that?
No.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy, yeah.
Wow.
So that's, you know what I mean. So yeah, I respect that, bro. I don't respect the people that's claiming that and afraid to death of a daggone DNA test, scared to death.
Mm-hmm. Right. That part.
So George, can you use the word nigga?
I'm gone, y'all.
I don't know, bro.
Hey, look.
To the line of percentages, I don't know.
Hey, no, the Israelites say you are who your dad is, right? My dad is.
Oh Lord, that's that Hebrew Israelite crap. All right, y'all. Peace and black power.